Zen Ray here. Welcome, Nick Nation, my band of brothers. We're here with Juby the Tubi, family above everything. We'll be talking about the Knicks game last night. Welcome, Juby. We're talking about the Knicks game last night, as well as the Donovan Mitchell. Welcome, Juby. We're talking about the Knicks game last night. I guess we have some feedback here.
Or we got
On
feedback,
your
yeah.
side, Juby. Okay, you hear me?
I hear you, but I don't have nothing else opened. I don't know why we're having that. My side is not open. Check if you have something. I hear you, but I don't have nothing else open.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Ooh. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Audio.
Okay. I think you were okay now. I
Test.
reset my settings a little bit. My apologies, Nick Nation. Welcome to Zen Ray Sports TV. We have Juby the Tubi family above everything. We're going to go over last night's Knicks beating the Magic last night and a lot of this talk of Donovan Mitchell coming to town. So welcome, Juby, and let me know your opinion of what's going on in Nick in not only Knicks Nation in their opinion, but you as a big Knick fan like myself. What's your opinion? What's going on with this Donovan Mitchell?
Lots to talk about, guys. Just to bring you guys up to speed, the Knicks beat the Magic last night 102-89. Great game, led by Grimes and McBride, but we'll get to that in a second. And my partner here has that replay up right now, showing you some stuff, some highlights of last night's game. And listen, Grimes is looking sharp. There's a reason the Jazz are interested in him. We'll get to that in a second. And as you guys know, the Donovan Mitchell rumors are hot and heavy here in New York City. We're just waiting. I'll give you guys my opinion in a second and shed some light on that. I may make some Knick fans a little bit upset tonight, but listen, Knick fans, we got to be honest, and that's what we're here. We're here to talk, and I'm here to share my opinion, and we'll get to it, Zenray. Appreciate you having me on. Let's get to it.
Thank you. So we'll talk about the game last night, and we have Keith Turner saying salute.
Hey.
Keith Turner, I appreciate you being here, my friend. So let's go a little bit about the game last night. So the game last night, the Knicks just dominated that front court. That five dominated that game last night. Toward the end, they couldn't stop Deuce McBride, who led the team with 23 points and 5 rebounds and 5 assists and 3 steals, Juby. And Quentin Grimes just unstoppable. He's the MVP of this Knicks team, Summer League team. 22.6 rebounds and 4 assists. Jericho Sims, what a center of mass this guy has. I mean, he is just a figure of a mountain. I mean, that center position for the Knicks, 12 points and 10 rebounds. And while Ferrin Hunt, who I like very much, had 13 points and 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Very impressive in game last night. And let me just say that this is the future that Leon Rose is building. And I think this is what the Knicks have to continue to do. We'll talk about Donovan Mitchell and what's going on. There's a lot of things going on. I put my opinion down below. What I think the Knicks shouldn't give up the farm just to get one player. Like I mentioned, he's not a Michael Jordan. He's not a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's not even a Dr. J. Listen, he is a all-star. He is, for me, an above-average all-star who can't play defense. If he plays defense, then we'll go over to the next step. I say he's an all-star, but he's not a superstar to be giving up all these assets, Juby. What do you think, sir?
Guys, I agree with you, but I disagree with you, my friend. Donovan Mitchell is a game changer for the Knicks. I hate to say that, but I'm not saying to give up the farm, but Knicks fans, we got to be realistic here. Like I told my, Zenray, my friend here, we all have, special interest, special connection with a lot of our players. Like me, I love Obi Toppin. I don't want to see Obi Toppin go. I love Quickly. I love Grimes. But the fact of the matter is, in order for you to get, you have to give, ladies and gentlemen. So Knicks fans, understand something. There is no player on the Knicks roster right now that is a star or a superstar in the making. As much as I love RJ Barrett, you know I'm all about Mr. Broadway. Mr. Broadway is not a superstar star.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. That's why I say he's untouchable. Now, if you add Donovan Mitchell, like my partner said, not a superstar, but 100% a star. And let me just say this, guys. Why do we have all these draft picks? Ladies and gentlemen, stop thinking that there's another star coming out in a couple of years. There's a LeBron James coming. There's a Kobe Bryant coming. There's nobody left, in my opinion. The time is now to make a deal. Be strong. Don't give up the farm. And Leon has to just play hardball and say, listen, this guy wants to come here. Donovan Mitchell wants to be in New York, guys. And Danny Ainge knows that. He knows that the Knicks are desperate for him too. They will come into an agreement. Be patient, but we're gonna have a lot of us are gonna be very upset when this is done because we're gonna lose our favorite player. I might lose my Obi Top, my guy Obi Toppin. Zenray might lose his Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes. It is going to happen. But when the sun is set, we will have Donovan Mitchell. And we will have a nice, still young core set. I think out of all the young guys that we have, I think, like for instance, Obi, Quickly, and Grimes, I will say one of those three are 100% gold.
I think you're correct, and I think Keith is on your sentiment as well. You think the deal is going to be done by Monday? I don't know if it's going to be done by Monday, Keith, but the deal is going to happen. It's just what the Knicks are going to give up. Are Knicks going to give up their major assets? I don't mind giving up draft picks, but if you can leave this core together and get Donovan Mitchell, Leon Rose is the CEO president of the year because you don't give up none of your major assets, but you have to make, the contracts work or the money work because they have to take a Fournier and a Rose combination or even a Julius Randle to make this work. We're not going to take all that salary back. So let's see what the Leon Rose has in store. Keith is saying, hey, it's going to be done by Monday. I don't know by Monday. If it is, Keith, man, I have to give you a lot of props. I think it's going to take a lot of more than dealing wheeling. I think they're going back and forth. And let me just put on a quick video of what's really, really going on in terms of the negotiations.
Happening. The Athletic was reported that the Knicks shot down a deal. It was 6 first-round picks. 6. Plus Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, Miles McBride, tickets to see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden, free food at the Garden, I guess. There's no way you do that deal if you're the New York Knicks. It's only July. Here's the thing. Danny Ainge is smart. Danny Ainge is shrewd. He knows that the New York Knicks really want Donovan Mitchell. So, of course, make a crazy offer. The only thing they can do is say no. Apparently, the Knicks said no as I lose my earring right here. But eventually, it will get done.
Hey,
it will.
Yeah, Keith Turner is saying the same thing. It's going to be done. I don't know by Monday, but it's going to be done. I think they're negotiating back and forth, and I think that I'm prepared to have Mitchell on the team. At what cost is my concern. I don't think Leon Rose is going to give up all his assets. I'd rather give draft picks and keep our OBs and our Quicklies and our Quentin Grimes. But you have to give something, like you mentioned prior to us getting on the show. You have to give something. I'm thinking of a Cam Reddish, maybe a Fournier, a Rose, and maybe another young player like Deuce McBride, and maybe 6 draft picks. But in terms of giving up all your players like Obi and Quickly, it's ridiculous. Thank you, Keith. And Keith is saying, preach it. Yes, Juby is the preacher of this household. And thank you, Keith. And then we have Super. Keep the core. Yep. Keep the core. I agree with you.
Super. I would love to keep the core, Super. Like I said, guys, put your predictions, guys, in the comments on what you think this package may include. We would love to hear what your take is, what you want to give. I'm going to give you my realistic trade package. You guys can judge me. You can say agree with me or not agree with me, but this is what I think it's going to be. I think, in my gut tells me, it's going to be Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish.
Are you?
Listen to me. Let me finish. 5 draft picks.
Leon Rose is not going to do that.
Derrick Rose, because he has an expiring contract and because you have to have the money to work, and possibly a Miles McBride. And I'm telling you guys,
Topping in the deal, that's not going to happen. That's Leon Rose's first draft pick.
It is, but let me tell you guys why I think it's going to happen. Who's here, ladies and gentlemen? Who is the man who we once used to stir the drink, which is Julius Randle? I don't think as much as I love Obi, man, I'm willing to go. I want to buy an Obi jersey. I'm one of the biggest Obi Toppin fans. I want him to be the starting power forward of this team. I think Obi or Quickly is in this team. Yeah,
I think Keith is correct. Keith is correct. Grimes will definitely be in the deal. He'll definitely be in the deal with a Cam Reddish and probably Deuce McBride, and then you probably throw one of the veterans in there, like a Fournier to make the. You got
to throw Fournier or Derrick Rose in there,
because it seems nobody wants Randall, and I don't think the Jazz want him for what? He's got another 4 years at least. Fournier has 1 more year in the option. You get rid of him the following year. I think Obi. I can almost guarantee you, Obi and Quickly are not in that package deal at all. Number one, Quickly is a big. Tibbs is a big Quickly supporter on that team, and then obviously Leon Rose. His first draft pick and Obi Toppin, he's going to trade him. I don't think it's going to happen, Juby.
You just said the key word right there. You said Emmanuel Quickly is a Tibbs player. You just said it. Listen to what you just said. But let's be honest. Is Obi Toppin a Tom Thibodeau player? Yes, that's Leon Rose's first draft pick. But who's the coach of this team, ladies and gentlemen?
Who's running the show, Juby? Who's running the show? Leon Rose is running the show.
I'm just telling you, man.
No compromise. I agree with you.
I hope you guys are right. I'm hoping I come on here and I say, ladies and gentlemen, we kept Obi, we kept Quickly, we kept RJ, and we added Mitchell, because if we can keep those 3 guys and add Mitchell and have to lose Grimes, even though it would pay me to see lose Grimes, like I said, guys, Donovan Mitchell is a 1 in a million guy, man. Is 25 years old. As much as we say RJ has an upside of his game to get better, Donovan Mitchell still has the potential to be a better defender. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest defenders of basketball until later in his career. I'm just saying. I'm giving you an example. It kept growing and growing and growing. I'm not saying that's going to be Michael Jordan, but an opportunity like this can.
I agree with Keith. Grimes is part of that package some way, somehow. Yeah. And let me just show you, after the game, they dominated the game last night. 45 points, I'm sorry. They combined last night, and they interviewed these 2 young kids last night. Watch this, guys.
Ready to play.
We want to come out here, try to dominate every possession, offensively, defensively, take no plays off, win to play every game, and win to win the whole thing. That's what we're trying to go out here and show Coach Tibbs.
Same thing for you. What's the biggest thing you're trying to show Coach Tibbs and the whole organization?
Definitely just to control the game. I think we're the second-year guys. We're the leaders. I feel like that we put in a lot of work this summer. We've been up in New York working, so just control the game.
Speaking of that work, what did you work on this summer to get ready for Summer League to show your game?
To get more comfortable with the ball, making rim reads, attacking off pick and roll, to make a read for myself and my teammates. Just to get more comfortable with the ball, making plays for not only me, but my other teammates as well.
I like what I see. Keep it up, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate you.
My man, appreciate you.
All right, guys. Grimes McBride got busy tonight.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
Look, guys, I love those guys. Watching these guys talk, and you have to give something to get something in return, especially Mitchell caliber player. Now, the positive of getting Mitchell here, you'll get more players that want to come to New York in the next couple of years. No one wants to come to New York. No, think about it. Durant didn't want to come here. Irving didn't want to come here. LeBron didn't want to come here. We can go on list of people. And the only reason he got Stoudemire here because we overpaid him. He had bad knees, and no other team was going to sign him, so we were bidding against ourselves. But Keith made a good point. Grimes is a part of that, and thank you, Keith. And then we have once a Nick, always a Nick. Oh, yes, we love you. Fournier, Rose, 5 picks, Cam, McBride, and Grimes. Yeah, look, I like that. What I was saying. I agree. It's not going to be Obi and Quickly. Obi Quickly is off the table with Barrett. They're basically off the table. At the Fournier, the Rose, I can see that happening. 5 picks, I can definitely see. I can even see up to 6 picks going. And Cam, McBride, and Grimes. Now, you lose a lot of defense there in terms of McBride and Grimes. And Cam, it plays a decent defense as well. So you have you have to find some defensive players. But two players in the summer league that has impressed me, it has been Jeffries and Hunt. I can see these kids being backup players for the Knicks. Good, solid backup role players for the Knicks. Let's see what happens with that. And let's look up at another. Thank you once again. Once a Nick, always a Nick. I appreciate you, brother. So let's look at Woj's prediction of what's really going on with this Donovan Mitchell possible trade. I still say possible, but I agree with Keith. It's going to happen. I don't know by Monday, but it's going to happen.
Donovan Mitchell. So where do we stand right now on the Mitchell front?
Yeah, Utah is talking throughout the league. They checked in with New York right around the time that we reported that the other day, traded some ideas with the Knicks about what the Knicks might be willing to do, what the Jazz would want. And it was really just more of a conversation to kick off what will be, I think, an extended process over time. And listen, New York is certainly very interested in Donovan Mitchell. He is from New York. They have wanted to use their picks, their assets, their young players to go out and try to get an all-star level player. Donovan Mitchell certainly fits that. But I think for Utah, they have time on their sides here with a long-term contract with Mitchell. They have a sense of what a structure might look like. I think a number of different structures could look like with the Knicks. They'll go out, they'll talk, they'll continue to talk to those around the league. I would expect New York and Utah to revisit it, perhaps revisit that conversation in the coming weeks. But this is not a process that's a negotiation back and forth or an everyday thing. It's not that. There's certainly a lot of interest in Mitchell around the league. And, you know, one thing you know about, especially with Danny Ainge at the top in Utah, you know, he does deals historically when he feels like he's got a decided advantage in the return. They got that with Rudy Gobert. We could point to a few deals in Boston that they've got, you know, tremendous returns for assets. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Donovan Mitchell. But
we won't go but. I think the but is basically that this is going to happen. Okay, this is going to happen. Like Keith says, he says by Monday, but he mentioned, Woj, it's going to take a few weeks before everybody comes together and decide what the package is going to be about. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to be Obi. I'm pretty sure they already asked for Obi. You mentioned they asked for Obi quickly and 6 picks, and they turned them down. I think Leon Rose, thank God Leon Rose is here. If it was Isaiah Thomas or Scott Perry, this deal would have been done 2 or 3 days ago, and we would have given up a whole bunch of assets. We would have revisited the Carmelo Anthony trade when Donnie Walsh was here, when we gave up all this player, when the owner got involved. We don't want to go back to those days. Yes, we want to get talent in return, but we can't give up the farm. This is not a superstar like a LeBron James. That's a different story, or a Michael Jordan. So the last word says, guys, Leon Rose is playing Ainge. I think we will get him under Leon's package he wants to offer. Listen, I think that's what Leon Rose is doing. I think Leon Rose knows as well, Juby, that they're the only team that can offer the assets. There's no other team. People talk about the Miami Heat. They can't offer first rounders like this. And if you had a choice between a Barrett and who's the player the Heat, Tyler Hero, who would you want to pick? That's a close call, man. But look, I think you're correct. I think Leon Rose is playing a cat and mouse game, and I think at the end it's going to come down to more picks than players. I think that's what Leon Rose is leaning, giving up the players. What do you think, Juby? Thank you. Last word.
I hope you're right, man. I hope Nick Nation, I know that's what Nick Nation wants. I know, like I said, sometimes we sit there and we say, let's hold the picks. Let's wait. Let's build with the youth. But like I said, guys, although entertaining and although I love the guys, if you guys want to go to that next level, we're not even talking about championship contending. We're talking about being in the top 5 in the East. The East got so strong in the NBA. I don't know if you guys realize that. So we'll be definitely in the conversation with a move like this. I could see us even fighting for an Eastern Conference, but we still got to get to point Z. You got to go A, B, C. There's steps that you got to take. And if you guys want to go with the youth and you want to stay with the youth and the deal doesn't work out, I'm okay with that. It's going to take some time. But my thing is, we got all these draft picks. We got all these assets. And now, like I said, is a time you might as well swing for the fence in decent amount. Not give up the farm, like you said, Zenray.
Listen, I like swinging for the fences, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I get and I want to give not the whole team, because then you'll go back to the days of Carmelo where you had no team basically. Carmelo was trying to carry the team, and I have to say, Carmelo and Donovan Mitchell, I think Carmelo was a much better player, is a much better player than Mitchell. What do you think? Chat, give me your opinion. Who was a better player at this time? Was Carmelo better than Mitchell at this point? Yeah, I think Carmelo is more of a superstar and Mitchell is more of a star. So I understood why they gave all those assets back then, but it didn't work out. We don't want to revisit that. I think Mitchell is a nice star. He isn't a superstar yet. I think Barrett can eventually become a superstar. The Knicks have to be patient. Once a Knick, always a Knick has a good point here. Thank you once again. We have the leverage and time, and I think we do. We do have the leverage and time. Remember, the Jazz would have to get another team involved or find another team to get the assets that they're looking for. And remember, Danny Ainge and the front office is looking for picks, valuable picks, and the Knicks have them. There's no other team in the NBA can offer picks like that. I mean, Oklahoma can, but what is Oklahoma going to do with Mitchell in his contract? They're rebuilding. There are teams out there can offer the assets, but the Knicks right now, they have to be patient. And like once a Knick, always a Knick says, we have the leverage and time. Thank you. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Appreciate you. Here's Keith Turner. Miami would need a third team. Yes, like I mentioned, that will trade usually to die trying to get another team involved. I agree. They don't have the assets in terms of picks. That's what they're looking for. So Danny Ainge is smart, like Roach says. Basically, he's saying that we want talent. We want picks. But I'm pretty sure Leon Rose could smooth that over and just give him the picks, Juby, and just give them enough talent for them to be satisfied. A Grimes, a Cam Reddish, and Rose, and a Fournier. I can see that happening. So
let me ask you a question. Are you okay with 7 picks, Cam Reddish, let's say Derrick Rose and a McBride? I'm just, I'm not really 7 picks. That's the number.
It's excessive, but if you're just going to give 7 picks and those 3 players,
Rudy Gobert got 5 picks, and that's respectfully, no disrespect to Rudy Gobert, 2-time defensive player of the year, great guy, but it's apples and oranges right here. You know what I mean? And so if he got 5, I expect Donovan Mitchell to be at 6 or 7, and that's just my opinion. So I don't know.
I don't mean to cut you off, but this is what I'm saying. Leon Rose rather give up the picks than giving up the assets they have on the team. Because you get a Donovan Mitchell here. Remember, his defense is not all that. I mean, he's an average at best defender. And then you have Brunson, another average at best defender. Thibodeau is going to have Mitchell Robinson working overtime back there because he's going to be saving a lot of people's ASS because the defense and that front court it's average at best. But I think Tibbs has a plan. Leon Rose has a plan. And Leon Rose, I trust. And once again, always once a Knick, always a Knick, says definitely Melo in his prime. I agree. Melo was a superstar. Donovan Mitchell, that's what it's getting a lot of Knick Nations really hot and heavy under the collar, is that he doesn't have that superstar quality to give up all these assets. But Danny Ainge knows what he's doing. He did it with Rudy Gobert, but he thinks he's dealing with a different management team. But Leon Rose is running the show here now. Isaiah Thomas is here, a Scott Layton, and even a Scott Perry. If he was running the show, this deal would have been done 2 or 3 days ago.
I got even a worse one. Everybody talks about the Carmelo Anthony deal. You guys don't remember the Grunfield deal with RJ Barrett? Oh, that was actually even worse, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody talks about the Carmelo Anthony was so bad for us. Yeah, it was bad because we were left with nothing. But the assets that we gave up for that Bargiani kid who was just, oh my God, just terrible. Anyway,
we made a lot of bad moves in the last 2 or 3 decades. We've been horrible in drafting. We've been horrible in making trades. Thank you once a Knick, always a Knick. And now we have spiritually awakened. I don't like the fact that Leon Rose looks desperate to get Mitchell. How is he looking desperate? I don't understand that spiritual. He's not looking desperate. If he was looking desperate, he would have made the trade already. I think he's just playing this cat and mouse game. He's negotiating. I know Keith said by Monday. It could be by Monday. It could be by next week. It could be by the following week. But I expect Donovan Mitchell to be here unless Ainge is still making a stand for getting Obi and Quickly and all these players from the Knicks. I see the Knicks giving more of a draft pick package than players. The only players they'll be giving up is kind of to match compensation in terms of salary. But in terms of giving Obi, Quickly, Grimes, and Cam Reddish in a deal, it's ridiculous. I think Leon Rose won't do that. I trust Leon Rose, and Nick Nation believes in Leon Rose as well. I'm a big Leon Rose guy. Not too much a Tibbs fan, but I'm willing to give him a second chance. We all make mistakes. So spiritually, I don't think that Leon Rose looks desperate. I don't think that by a long shot.
Yeah.
But spiritual.
Nick Nation, isn't it funny how on draft night, before we go on to the next comment, draft night, we were all sitting here saying, what are the Knicks doing? Knicks are crazy. They're trading away their 13th pick for draft compensations and things like that. Let me tell you guys something. Leon Rose and all these guys knew about Donovan Mitchell. The NBA is talking about that if they get Donovan Mitchell, that they're going to investigate, just like the Jalen Brunson move. They want to investigate. These are the rumors that I'm hearing, that the Knicks, because they went out to the game last season against the Dallas Mavericks. We had Julius Randle, Allen Houston, and they were saying that not only was it Brunson, but they were actually entertaining Donovan Mitchell at that time. So they had a conversation with Donovan a long time ago, probably behind closed doors.
Worldwide watching this team. Yeah, I agree. Worldwide watching about, yeah.
Yeah. Donovan, besides using his mouth, has used all the body language in the world to express that he wants to be here in New York City. From his clothing to going to Citi Field and rooting for the Mets and throwing out first pitches, the kid wants to be here. At the end, I think before training camp starts, I think Donovan Mitchell will be a New York Knick.
I agree with you, and I agree with Keith. I think Keith knows, as well as a lot of Knick Nation, this deal is going to happen. Is how much is Leon Rose going to give for Donovan Mitchell? And Keith even goes a little further by saying the furthest I would go with the picks is 6. That's my limit, and 2 of them have to be pick swaps. Hey, I agree with you. You know, at the end, if you give up 6 and you only give up a Cam Reddish, a Grimes, and a Fournier, and 6 picks, the Grimes will hurt me.
Yeah.
But you have to make that deal, man. You have to make it. But I think he's trying to hold on to Quentin Grimes and try to give more assets. The question is, do you give a Cam Reddish, a Rose, a Fournier, and give him 7 picks and keep Grimes? This is the kind of negotiation Leon Rose is going back and forth. Listen, Grimes is going to be a hell of a player. He's going to probably be one of the best 3-and-D players in the next 2 or 3 years on any team that he's on. But if he's on the Knicks, wow. The Knicks are going to have a team in the next 2 or 3 years. And this is the building process that Leon Rose has planned all ahead. And I agree with Keith. I think the furthest I would go is 6. But would you go 7 and keep Grimes and just throw Cam in there, Fournier, McBride, and Fournier, Cam, McBride, and just keep.
So it sounds like Nick Nation is okay with giving up picks, but they want to keep the core together, which we know about right now.
Much as possible. Yes.
But you're okay with losing McBride.
Well, once we got Mitchell and Brunson, McBride's days up in terms of getting playing time. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. I mean, if Rose goes in a deal, who's the other backup point guard? You got Quickly who can play, the combo guard, and you'll probably pick up another player, a development player or a free agent along the way, a cheap free agent to back up at the point. But at this juncture, if you can save Grimes from going to the deal and give up a 7th pick and just trade Cam, McBride, Fournier, I think the Knick Nation will do that. I'll do it. That's a great trade. But
go Go ahead.
Seven picks is a lot of picks. I don't think Leon Rose is going to go that far up. But let's see if Leon Rose is willing to give Grimes up. You have to give something to receive something. So I see Grimes going to deal, like Keith mentioned earlier. Grimes will be in the deal with Cam and McBride, and you can see a Fournier and Rose going as well. That'll be my guess in terms of what they'll get in return for Donovan Mitchell.
Now, who in Nick Nation would you rather keep? Grimes, Quickly, or Obi?
Of course, you're gonna give Quickly and Obi.
But you have to give up. All right, let's eliminate Grimes because I know that's an easy one. Would you rather have Quickly or Obi leave if one of them has to go?
That's asking if you want your left or right arm. I mean, they come together as a package, man.
I'm just telling you guys how the assassin in Utah works.
Sure.
The assassin will try to break up that dynamic Batman and Robin duel. He will sit there and say, you know what, you don't want to give me Obi? That's fine. I want Quickly and I want McBride and Grimes and some picks and Fournier. I'm just trying to prepare us mentally and emotionally for this.
I can almost guarantee, and I hate guaranteeing things. I don't think Leon Rose is going to go there with Obi and Quickly. Like I said, you'd rather give draft picks up and lose a Cam and lose a Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes has a lot of value. Cam Reddish has a lot of value. And then you give up to make the salaries work. You give up a Fournier, possibly a Rose to make it work. But once a Nick, always a Nick. I am good with giving up 7 picks. Me too. If we can save Quentin Grimes, I wanted to go 7. McBride, Cam, Fournier, and Rose.
Me too.
Yeah. See. Once a Nick, always a Nick. We kind of thinking alike here.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. We love our Quentin Grimes, man. We see what he's doing in the G League. I mean, this guy's dominating the G League, and Deuce McBride is right behind him. So, giving a Deuce McBride is still something good. That's a future. I wouldn't say a star, but a good, solid point guard in the NBA. And I think the Jazz would be great to having him. But I think they're gonna want Grimes in that deal definitely. So I'm in with that. Once a Nick, always a Nick. I think 7 picks: McBride, Cam, and Fournier and Rose. I'll go for that. Thank you once again. Ken Ribby, IQ. Ooh.
Rather
you had a
IQ
choice.
though.
You still give IQ. Okay, if I had a choice, IQ will be the guy. Yeah, thanks, King Ribby. Long time no see, sir. Salutes to you. Yeah, I think IQ is expendable. It's expendable, I say, but I don't think he's going nowhere. That's me. That's me personally. Keith Turner. My proposal was Fournier, Grimes, Rose, and 5 first rounders. I think Danny will take that. I think as this gets longer, I think, like once the Nick, always Nick said, we have the leverage in time. So I think the further you wait on this, I think Danny Ainge will probably give into a deal like this. But since this is hot in the oven, he's going to be asking for outlandish type of picks and players in return. Thank you, Keith Turner. I think that's a great possibility. Ismael, what's up? Welcome. Why do you think
Utah
wanted Grimes? Obviously, yeah, Grimes is the guy. He is the closest to a star on that Knicks youth than anybody else. Do you see Obi becoming a star? I can see that with playing time. Do you see Cam becoming a star? We don't know yet. He's kind of injured. Do you see McBride coming a star? I'm not sure. But Grimes, I can see Grimes becoming a star player, that 3-and-D dominant player. Yeah.
You know who Grimes reminds me of? I'm not talking about his basketball game. Just like how he's a great player, but he's not a superstar. The guy from Milwaukee, who's with Kumbo. What's his name? The shooting guard.
Yeah, the one who. Yes, I can't think of his name. He has a brother playing in the NBA, correct?
No. This is the shooting guard. You know how it's Donovan Mitchell, and then it's the other guy. What, Chad? If you guys can let me know what's his name, I cannot think of his name right now. You know what? It's bothering me so much.
Ishmael, thank you for your your input here. Yeah, I think that Atlanta and Utah wants Grimes really bad, but Atlanta
Middleton.
Middleton.
Chris, I'm not saying his game.
He's a veteran, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you see how Chris Middleton is respected in the NBA, and he still averages all his points, and he's still a lockdown defender, and he's still a good player. I think that's the potential I see in Quentin Grimes. I see him being a player that's like that. Not a superstar, not a star, but a solid piece to a team, 100%.
Yeah, King Ribby RM says Fournier, Grimes, McBride, Cam, 5 first-round picks. Yeah, in 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
I'll do that in 1 second. Yeah,
Half a
that's
second.
losing Grimes. It's going to be tough, but you have to give something to get something in return. But that package, it seems like that's the consensus with a lot of Knick Nation, that you can see 5 first-rounders going, a combination of Fournier, Grimes, McBride, Rose can be thrown in there. So I can see that happening. Thank you, Kim Ribby. Listen, there's a lot of things in terms of what this cat and mouse game that Leon Rose and Danny Ainge is going back and forth. Keith Turner says that it's going to be done by Monday. I don't know if it's going to be by Monday, but I can see them going back and forth a couple of weeks to finally, like once a Nick, always a Nick says we have the time and leverage. I think he is totally correct with that. I think that we do have the time and leverage. It's not that we need him right now, right here, right now, but Utah, they need to get rid of his salary. Number one, he's gonna be pouting if he's still on that Utah team. So if he doesn't get traded now, he's definitely going to cause a distraction. They want a couple of young kids back, have some assets in terms of picks, so they can start rebuilding the Utah Jazz, the players then. And what a player having Quentin Grimes, and they'll tank next year definitely to get the number 1 pick. So that's another thing Utah has to their advantage. They're going to basically have no team, and like I mentioned in my previous show, once Donovan Mitchell is not there, this is going to be the worst team in the NBA. Ooh. Thanks, King Ribby. Once a Nick, always a Nick. Deuce is better version of Marcus Smart. Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah. I think it's quicker, has a better shot than Marcus Smart, plays that intensive defense that Marcus Smart plays. So yeah, I agree with you. Once a Nick, always Nick. Thank you. King Ribby, thumbs up. Yes, sir. MH, that's too much for DM. We can keep our picks and draft our own superstar in the draft pick.
Where, guys?
Go ahead, Juby. I think you have your consensus. I'm different than you, so I know the Indian cupboard routine that you're talking about.
MH, we appreciate the comment, man, and I love how us Knick fans, we like to build from within, and we want to build the youth and everything. But guys, where is the next LeBron James? Where is the next Dwayne Wade? How long do you guys want to wait? How long has New York waited? I mean, let's be realistic, guys. I mean, this is an opportunity to get a star, not a superstar, a star to mesh with RJ Barrett. And I'll even say Julius, as much as I don't even want to include Julius to that. If Julius can have a season that he had when he took us to the playoffs, can you imagine how our team would look like and how teams will be the talk of the town? I mean, there's nobody, as far as I know right now, there's only one prospect that's coming out of college that he has like a 7'9" wingspan and he's a center, and they're talking about that. That's why Utah wants to tank for him and everything like that. But where do you have this athleticism that you see in Donovan Mitchell? I mean,
it's a crapshoot. The lottery is a crapshoot. I mean, but it depends who's drafting. Leon Rose and his execs, they've been doing a great job drafting the players. Think of the players we've gotten the last few years, and Obi and Quickly and Grimes and Deuce and Sims. Look at this kid. Look, that's some good drafting. I say the Knicks.
Great players, good players. We love them. We adore them, but not stars nor superstars.
You have to give them some time, Juby. You have to give them some time. But look, I'm half in, half out with MH. I think we need to build to the draft. At the same time, if you can get a player like Donovan Mitchell without mortgaging your future, you do it. He's not a superstar. He's a star player at best. Thank you, MH. I agree with you. But if you can get a Donovan Mitchell here, to make things happen. My concern is how Tibbs is going to coach 2-6-1, leading with Brunson and Mitchell in that front court. That's my concern. But we'll let Tom Thibodeau be worried about that.
You know who I blame, Nick Nation? You know who I blame for all of us having this discussion right now? Blame Phil Jackson. You know why? Because instead of drafting Frank Nicolina, we could have had Donovan Mitchell, and we would have not been having this discussion right now. We could have already had Donovan Mitchell and RJ Barrett possibly paired up, but instead we chose Frank.
Phil Jackson, he kind of messed up the whole Knicks organization. He kind of, I don't know if he was working or he was busy with his LA girlfriend out in Lakerland, but we won't go there with that. So Ismail is saying Middleton when he was looking for that player. Yeah, thank you. Ismail. Beasley, Devon was saying Middleton, welcome. Thank you. And welcome, Devon Lambert. Appreciate you for coming on and giving your input and helping us out. We have once a Knick, always a Knick. Definitely Grimes is a 3-and-D player. And I think he's going to be one of the best 3-and-D players in NBA. I can see this kid being a star player in the league. Cisco, Alejandro, Utah has to trade now after all the trade headlines. Yeah, eventually they would have to. The pressure's on them. You know, we have the time and leverage, like once a Knick, always a Knick said before. And I think Leon Rose is going to use that to his advantage. We have no rush. If it takes 2 or 3 weeks, we'll get our man as long as we don't mortgage the future. Thanks, Cisco.
Woj already said it, guys, that we're so into deep with this right now. Utah's so invested into this, and the Knicks are so into it that there's no way to really back out of this. It's just a matter of when and what it takes to get it done.
Listen, this is something that once a Knick, always a Knick, and I think a lot of Knick Nation agrees with me, especially me. I wish we can send Randall and picks, but Utah doesn't want them. Listen, this tells you it's just 2 reasons why Utah doesn't want him. First, he makes too much money to come into a rebuilding stage. And number 2, nobody wants Julius Randle. Nobody. You're not going to get the value. You hope to trade him sometime in the middle of the year, get some value for him back then if they still want to trade him. But I think that Tom Thibodeau still has some love for Randle, and I think Leon Rose as well. But thank you, once a Knick, always a Knick. I would love that if that would happen. Ishmael, the Knicks actually have leverage in this trade if they don't get desperate and bid against themselves. Yes, that's why we have Leon Rose. I agree. I mean, a lot of teams in the past, the Knicks bid against themselves when they got Amari Stoudemire here. I mean, this guy, you could have gave him half the contract he received, but he saw his payday. Nobody was offering him anything. But Ishmael made a good point there. Thank you. Once a Knick, always a Knick, sleeping. Okay. I think I'm behind a little bit, so Damon Davis. Don't get him. Don't forget he ran Melo out of town. Yes.
Phil Jackson.
And I apologize. Davis. I call you.
The Damani Davis.
Damani Davis. I butchered your name. I come from a Latino background, and we butcher everybody's name, even in Latin. My apologies, sir. So yeah. He ran Melo out of town, and his trade value in terms of when Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn, was here, that caused a roller coaster ride in terms of the relationships and the value we got for the unicorn. We probably could have gotten a lot more in return. Listen, Phil Jackson destroyed the organization. I think he was getting free money because I don't think he did his job here. But thank you, Davis. For real, not even the Nets. I agree. I totally agree. Juby, give me your opinion of Mr. Davis is saying.
About for real, not even the Nets? As far as the Nets on what? Listen, guys, you already know we bleed orange and blue. You know, Brooklyn can stay on the other side of the river. That's cool. They're from New York. Best of luck to them. But right now, our main 100% concern is if Donovan Mitchell is going to be here and at what cost and when. Appreciate the comment, though, guys.
Yeah. I'll call you Davis because my Latino is coming out of me right now, and I'll butcher that first name again, but I'll get it right, man. It takes me a while, man, but I'll get it right.
Phil
Thank
Jackson
you.
was
Thank you, David.
sleeping.
So once again, Always Nick says Phil Jackson was sleeping during the draft for Frank. Was he sleeping? I think he slept through the whole. How many years was he here? 3 years.
Painful
It was,
years. Painful.
It was awful, man. Listen. I was excited when Phil Jackson arrived here, but I'm thinking of Phil Jackson, the coach. This is his first time he was running a team, so I should have known better. He didn't know what he was doing. So thank you once a Nick, always a Nick. Not only was he sleeping, I think that he was clueless at best. So Juby, looking right now, do you see the Knicks giving more in players or in draft picks for Donovan Mitchell?
I think it's gonna be a balance. I think at the end, like you guys mentioning, I think Danny Ainge is gonna ask for the farm. He's gonna ask for whatever he wants. He's gonna ask for free parking, like they said, free food. But at the end of the day, I think Donovan Mitchell is gonna put pressure on him. He knows, and I think he's gonna say, you know what, guys, let's come to a common ground. And he's gonna reach out to Leon Rose, and they're gonna probably talk, and they're gonna say, Leon hopefully says, quickly, Obi, RJ, not in it as well. Quentin Grimes might be possibly going, man. Like I said, and then some draft picks, Cam Reddish, and then Fournier and Rose, just to make the money and the salary work. We wish it could be Julius, as I see Damani Davis don't want Randall. I would, like I said it in a previous show, I would go to Julius Randle's house, pack his bags for him, and put him on the plane just to get him out of here.
Drive him to the airport.
Drive him to the airport.
So listen, Knick Nation, we have something to celebrate. So the Knicks haven't made the actual championship in the NBA since they won it back in 1973. But guess they are making the Summer League Finals. The Knicks will be playing Portland for the Summer League Championship, guys. The youth is rocking Knick Nation Summer League. What do you think, Knick Nation?
Do we want them to win, guys, or do we want them to tank so Danny Ainge can sit there and say they choked? We don't want Quentin Grimes and McBride. This is a tough one, guys. Really tough.
Listen, if the Knicks lose the championship to Portland, which I think we're going to win, I think Grimes is going to be the MVP if they have such thing in Summer League.
He should. He's
been playing tremendous in the Summer League. But listen, when is the last time we've been in a championship? I mean, talk about 73. We'll talk about the
1999 against the San Antonio Spurs.
John Starks and Ewing. Yeah, so I mean, not 73 is the last time we won it, but we were there. We lost in the finals. John Starks, and then that year we lost it because the whole team got ejected because they ran onto the floor. And then the other year they lost. They were in it because Patrick Ewing was injured, and Grandmama was trying to carry the team, and they just didn't have enough players on the floor. So I remember back in those days. But we have a chance to win the championship. That could be something exciting, Knick Nation. We have so we're back to Davis is saying they could give all 8, just not our young players. I agree with him. I'm willing to go that far if we can keep a Grimes and just get rid of McBride. Give him McBride. Give him Cam. And give him Rose and give him Fournier. I would go to 8. I don't think Leon Rose will go to 8. I think Leon Rose is between 6 and 7. I don't think he'll go for 8. 8's a little too much, but I would do it. I would do it just to get Mitchell in here and still have the core of your team on the team and keeping Grimes, which is something that I look forward to. Thank you, Davis, Mr. Davis. And once a Nick, always a Nick. Thumbs up. I agree.
Cisco, thumbs up.
The youth is making a case to be a part of the team. I agree, man. This youth, look at the Summer League. Look, I'm telling you, Hunt and Jeffries are going to be players eventually. I think they're going to be a backup players for the Knicks. So I'm very impressed with those 2 players. I see them having a future for the Knicks. Yeah, I agree with Cisco. The youth is making a case to be part of the team. And why not? If you can't make this trade with Mitchell, then keep the youth, keep on building. Yes, it's going to take a few more years than expected, but I expect Leon Rose not to give and mortgage the future. Thank you, Cisco. Okay, you pronounce that, Juby.
Canal Ban
That's good enough.
Lawyer. If I butchered it, I apologize.
Like we got the Latin in us, and we just mess up. We butchered names like crazy around here. Our apologies. It's not intentional. He says Fournier, Grimes, Deuce, Rokas, 6 first round. Hey, we forgot Rokas. That's right. Rokas is overseas. Canal brought up a player that I didn't even think of that we can throw in that trade. Thank you, Canal. Fournier, Grimes, Deuce, Rokas, 6 first rounders in 3 seconds. So 3-second picks, 3 rounds, 3-second picks. Before I was thinking seconds and how many seconds you do it, but I think they're meaning 3 seconds. I think you're gonna give Grimes, Deuce 2 point guards we have for the future. I don't think they'll give two point guards. I think, but that's not a bad package. The 6 and 3 seconds, that's a lot. You're giving up a lot, but I think to get a player of that caliber here, I think I wouldn't mind doing that. Losing Rokas and Deuce, 6 first rounders and 3 seconds. I don't know. I have to think about those 3 seconds. And I have to think of between Deuce and Rokas. But if that came down, take it or leave it, I would take it, Canal. I appreciate that. Canal comes back again. You can't trade Cam because you need length on the wing. That's a good point, because if we trade Grimes and we trade Cam, what length are you going to have? You're not going to have it.
Hunt, ladies and gentlemen. Hunt is the diamond in the rough, guys. He reminds me of a Grimes, Cam Reddish
that's a good point. But Canal makes a good point. You can't trade both of those players because you need an experienced guy. Hunt is not NBA ready yet. I can see him in the future. I like Hunt. Jeffries are the guys I'm looking at in the summer league. Very impressive. Canal. I agree with you. I would do that. Let's see. Billy Joe to go.
Billy
48 rows and 8 picks. Take it or leave it.
Ooh.
Listen, if you can swing that, Billy, I would definitely do it.
I would tell everybody that Billy needs a job as an assistant to convince Leon Rose. If you can get that to happen and make Danny Ainge sign that paper,
work for Danny Ainge as an assistant for him.
That would be awesome. I would do that.
I don't think Danny Ainge is going to do that. He's going to probably want another player in there. But the 8 picks, I would do it. If you keep Cam and you keep Grimes and you still have the foundation built on this, and you just give 8 picks and Fournier and Rose, that's a great trade. Leon Rose gets President CEO of the Year. Thank you, Billy. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Welcome. Canal, thumbs up. You got it. Yes, sir. Thank you. Keith Turner, Hunt can replace Grimes once the trade happens. Yeah, I'm a big Hunt guy, and Juby is too. I'm a big Hunt guy. I don't know if he'd be NBA ready, but he has that swag, man, for New York, man. And he plays such good defense. He's always making deflection steals, running into the middle of the passing lane. A very good defender. Keith, I agree with you. That can happen. Canal,
let's not forget we got Keith, right?
I'm sorry?
Don't forget we got the guy from Duke. We all forget that we just signed the new guy that we got, Keels. That impressed
me. Like,
I know
his defense is there. He does a little bit of everything, but his outside shot, even in the summer league, he looks like he needs, and he was a pretty decent shooter in high school, and even in Duke, clutch shots. But he looks a little nervous, a little tight. His outside shooting needs a lot of work. Keels is a work in progress, but he hasn't really, really impressed me. He did a little bit of everything. Great defense, a good defender, but his outside shot, if he can't take that outside shot and nail it, you really have no use in that Knick rotation at all. Defensive-wise, yes, but offensively, Canal says, but you keep all your young players. I agree. We need to do that. Damian Davis, I'm Jamaican, so I understand. I butcher names all the time. And listen, we're from the Caribbean, so we us Caribbean guys, we do butcher names.
Nice.
Thank you, Davis. So that's pretty good. Once a Knick, always a Knick. I forgot we have Stash in Rokas. Yes, I agree, man. I agree. Canal brought that up to light. I think that he can be a part of this trade package. So that's Canal good insight on his part. And I'll definitely send him 2, but sending McBride and him Yes, two solid point guards. If you had a choice, Nick Nation, you send them both or you keep one. Which one would you pick? Rokas or McBride? I'm a McBride guy, so I would keep McBride. That's my opinion. Thank you once again. Always Nick. Once a Nick, always a Nick. And we have impression Taekwondo. I shouldn't give that much for Mitchell. What happens if he gets hurt in next season? What would be the outcome? What's he saying? You're up Blanks Creek. You still have Jalen Brunson, and if you give up all those assets, and like you said, he gets injured, Leon Rose better have a good insurance policy on him in terms of. But that's not the part. If he gets injured, the Knicks are in trouble, Juby. I think we don't look at the negative, but he makes a good point. I tried to stay away thinking about that, but impression, you make a good point.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis, when is the Summer League final? Juby, can you look that up?
I'm looking at it right now. New York is in first, and it was a tie between Portland and Milwaukee. Last I checked, it was the Portland Blazers who were actually going to be going. Let me just double check and see if I see anything that's updated.
I would say it's next week. I think probably.
Yeah, they'll announce it after tonight, guys. Like I said, we just heard that it was going to be 100% the Knicks and then the other team was the Blazers, but I see that Milwaukee is in there. But after tonight, we'll know for sure. The Knicks are definitely in that Summer League Finals, and they say that it was Portland.
We'll look that up, but I know that I heard that as well, and I didn't hear it from anybody else but Juby. Juby has all that insight, all that good stuff. He's always involved in that Twitter chats and all that good stuff. So we'll get back to you hopefully by the end of the show, which is probably going to be for another 10, 15 minutes. We'll get that information for you, Mr. Davis. Once a Nick, always a Nick. I'll keep McBride. Yeah, I'm a McBride guy. I definitely between both. McBride showing me a lot. Even though Rokas in the short stint last year in the Summer League, and even with what he's doing in the Euro League, he looks impressive as well. But I'm a Deuce guy, so I'll take Deuce. Keith Turner, Danny's don't want. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he doesn't want him. I don't think. Maybe you're right. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if he wants him or not. I don't have that kind of intel on it. But why not offer it if you can in a package deal? Thanks, Keith. Bodega Wi-Fi. Salutes.
Hey.
Was that Bodega?
Bodega. Yeah, that's Bodega.
Bodega Wi-Fi. Okay, Latino in the house. Salutes to you, Bodega Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is not doing so good. Maybe I can share some of your Bodega Wi-Fi, man. I get frozen here and there, but thank you. Welcome, sir. Appreciate you. So we have Roberto Mendez. I'd rather give up more picks than more of my young guns, bro. Knicks all day, baby. Puerto Rico. Viva Puerto Rico Libre. All right. PR in the house. Thank you, Roberto. Appreciate you, brother. So we have Stuart Horwitz. I think that they want Obi and Grimes. Yeah, I'm afraid that Juby made the same sentiment that Obi is part of that package deal that Danny Ainge is looking for. But I don't think Leon Rose has no intention in sending Obi. It's his first pick as a Knick. And I think that's going to be tough, not only for him, but for Knick Nation to lose Obi Toppin. The energy, the guy who came in with all smiles, a positive energy. Now, if you look at Julius Randle, he was the opposite of Obi in terms of energy and in terms of a positive atmosphere and just picking up players from the floor, being enthusiastic and just being just a positive kind of influence on the team. Hopefully, Randle learns a little bit from Obi in that aspect, and maybe he can go back to his 2020 season where he was magnificent. Thank you, Stuart. Barry Neal. Oh, he's sporting that New York Yankee cap.
Hey,
yes,
let's go. You already know.
I wouldn't come off Obi or IQ. Definitely not RJ, Grimes, and McBride can go. Yeah. That's tough. Look, all these young players here. So you wouldn't come off Obi or IQ. Definitely. I agree. Not R. Grimes.
So basically Grimes and McBride can go. The other three guys, he's untouchable.
Yeah, if I had a choice, you need to keep Obi here and IQ. They're that second unit when they're together, they ignite this youthful kind of passion and play on the court that just brings Knicks Nation just rising to their feet. You have to keep, like I was telling Juby, he said, which one would you give up? It's like asking me if I want to give up my right or left arm. I mean, you have to keep these two together. I think that's what the Leon Rose plan is, to keep both of them together. I agree with you, Barry. Grimes and McBride, go. Keep OB and IQ. You need to keep that nucleus of this energy in that second unit. Thank you, Barry. Ooh. Ismail, OB, IQ, 5 first round is probably around what's going to take once Ainge stops to try to finesse us. I don't think he's going to do that.
I'm good with that, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh wow, I don't know. Think agree with that.
Nah.
We'll get back to Ismail. You may be right. I don't think Leon Rose is going to play that type of ball with him. He'll walk away if that's a continual OB and IQ and 5 first rounders. That's a lot, and they're going to have to give some contracts to match. So they'll have to probably take a Fournier and Rose as well. That's a lot, Ismail. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I don't think Leon Rose is going to do it. Juby, you think that you'll do it anytime, any day, right?
I would not even conversate. Once I hear OB and IQ is in that package with 5 first round picks, and you probably have to throw a Cam, and you got to throw in a Evan Fournier.
Yeah. Ismail, thank you. I disagree with that for me personally, and I think Leon Rose will make that move. Victor Rivera, Wojo says Knicks motivated. This was about 8 minutes ago. Puerto Rico, I'm not giving up on Obi. That means we're all in on Randall. Let's go Mets. Okay, I'm a New York fan. I root for the Mets, but I'm a Yankee fan. But I do respect the Mets. You have
Showalter's there. The Yankees.
So I appreciate. Hey, Showalter's there, ex-Yankee. Listen, I'm a New York fan, but if the Yankees play the Mets, hey, Victor, we have to go. Yankee stripes all the way. But thank you, brother, from PR. Much love. So we have Ishmael, OB, a liability on defense. Well, if that's the case, you're talking about Jalen Brunson, liability on defense.
Fournier.
You're talking about Evan Fournier, liability on defense. You're talking about Donovan Mitchell, a liability. Remember, when Jalen Brunson played against Dallas, Jalen Brunson toasted Donovan Mitchell. If you watch the rewinds of those games, Donovan Mitchell can stop anybody. So the question is, so we're talking about OB's defense. He's getting better. He's not the greatest, guys. I'm not saying, but I think he's average, maybe a little bit less below average, but he's working on his game. So for us to criticize OB's defense when you're bringing back Donovan Mitchell, who got toasted by Jalen Brunson in the playoffs, let's rethink that. I think OB defensively, he's not the greatest, but what he can bring to this team offensively and with his enthusiasm and positive nature is a lot more than what Tibbs wants in terms of he wants defense. But I think Tibbs wants a guy who's going to come in and play with IQ and just run this team and bring the energy to that second unit. So you have to sacrifice a little defense. Okay. I agree with you, Ishmael. Thank you. Cisco Alejandro, OB always has the garden rocking. Yes, Ismail. OB has the garden rocking all the time. That's the energy that brings the lift to the team. You can't give that away. And if he's defensive, a liability at times, he tries. He tries so hard, and maybe he'll get a little better this year. But what he can give you offensively, energy-wise, and what quickly and Obi can do together, Juby, it's a lot going on. Hey, Juby, I know you have to be going in the next few minutes.
I actually got to cut out, brother. I'm sorry. Familia, I love you guys, but, I always preach family above everything, and my little guy right now is screaming in the other room right now. I got to go.
All right, Juby. Take care of you, Juby. I'll finish it off here. Thank you, Juby, and we'll be talking soon. Say hi to your lovely family and your son, and my apologies if I took you away from your son.
No, you're good. Listen, fellas, thank you everybody in the chat for the comments today. We appreciate it as always. Don't forget to give this guy your thumbs up. Mr. Zenray over here, great guy, big Knick fan. We always come on here, guys, not because we want to. We just love coming on here, man, talking to you guys, doing what we do at work. Just let's keep it positive, and hopefully by next week, who knows, maybe Donovan Mitchell will be wearing orange and blue stripes. So we'll see what happens, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Peace, guys. Good night.
Peace. Thank you. Good night. All right, Pudge NYC. Salutes, fellas. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Salutes to you, Pudge. And we have Cisco PR de Puerto Rico. Yes. Long live Puerto Rico, the most beautiful island in the Caribbean. Well, I'm partial. Jamaica's beautiful and a lot of other islands, but Puerto Rico, ooh, there's a Latin special taste of good music, fun, and don't forget the food, my gosh, but we won't go there. Thank you, Cisco. Ishmael, salute. I'm sorry. Once Nick. Sir, yes, sir. Yankees all the way. Yankees and Boston scored 3-3, fifth inning. Wow, I'm missing the game. Thank you for the update. Thank you. Once a Nick, always a Nick. The Knicks need to beat Boston, man. We need to beat those guys bad. They took 2 out of 4 games from us last week, especially when we won the first 2 games. They came back and just dominated the last 2 games of that series last week at Fenway Park. Let's go, Yankees. Barry Neal, facts. Obi and IQ are spark plugs. I agree. We need that energy in the house, Barry. You're sporting that New York Yankee jersey and hat. Much proud to wearing those stripes, man. And being a Knicks fan is a positive time in New York, brother. Salute Ishmael. Thank you. Everton Weedy. My pronunciation, once again, I apologize if I butchered your name. No way Grimes is going to be a stud as Obi. I agree, man. Edmonton, I agree. I think Grimes, man, if you can give more picks in that deal to keep Grimes, I would do it. I would go up as high as 7 to 8 number 1 picks and throw in some second rounders as well, just to keep Grimes and just give Cam away and just throw a Deuce McBride in there, a Rokas if you have to, and to make the contracts match, you throw a Fournier and a Rose in that package. Thank you, Everton. I appreciate you, man. Barry, go Knicks. Yes, go Knicks. Thank you, Barry. We survived 100 people. Salute Nick Nation. Salutes to you, sir. Greatly appreciate you, and thanks for coming on, man. Groden 78. It might be 6 picks, Fournier, Rose, Grimes, McBride. I think that's where I think I would do this in a heartbeat. But if you can just keep Grimes and throw him an extra pick and some second rounders, because I'm a big Grimes guy, I would do it. But if that's the package and you have no choice, then as much as it hurts me losing Grimes, let's do it, man. Let's do it. But if you can give more picks and assets in terms of picks, some future number 1s, some swaps along the way, and keep Grimes and throw him a Cam Reddish, I would do it. Thank you, Golden 78. Jerry Wilthilt. I love Grimes, but if Grimes and the picks plus vets, that's good. But if it's all the youths and picks, they can keep them. Syracuse, New York in the building. All right, Syracuse. Thank you, Jerry, man. I appreciate you, man. I agree with you, man. I think it's time that if you have to walk away from a deal like this, just walk away, Jerry. Absolutely. You can't give up all this youth and the picks and end up with nobody. Carmelo Anthony, part 2. We don't want to do that again, even though I think Carmelo Anthony is a superstar or was a superstar compared to Donovan Mitchell, who is a star. I can't take nothing away from Donovan Mitchell, but to give up all those players, I would do that for Jordan, LeBron, Dr. J, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson. But to give up all those picks for a star player who has a liability defensively. So, Jerry, I agree with you 100%. Thank you, sir. Silver, Ghost, Reddish, McBride, Rose, Fournier, quickly, and 3 picks for Mitchell. Yeah, man, I like that. See, this is what I would do. I think the picks will have to be increased. I don't think he's going to take 3 picks. I can see him that being double at 6 picks, 5 to 6 picks. But Reddish, McBride, Rose, Fournier. Quickly, I didn't see the quickly there. Quickly, that's tough for me. Quickly, oof, ouch. Once again, I'll give more picks. You keep Quickly and Grimes. I minus Quickly on that pick. I don't think Leon Rose is going to give an Obi or Quickly. I think Grimes is in play. I think Cam is in play. I think Deuce McBride is in play. Rokas from the EuroLeague, he's in play. But I don't see Quickly. If you take Quickly away from Obi, man. Wow. I don't think I would do it personally. You may have a point there, Silver Goals, to get this even on the table to make that deal. I think that's a possibility, man. I hate to say that, man. Paris, San Diego, thank you. Grimes will be gone most likely with Obi and Deuce and Reddish or Rose. Yeah, I can see that happening. As long as I can see that happening without Obi. I don't see Obi and Quickly being dealt in here. I don't know. Maybe because I'm a big Obi and Quickly fan. I don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong. I hope I hope you're wrong. But to get Mitchell to give up all these assets once again, he's not a Dr. J. He's not a Magic Johnson. He's not Larry Bird. He's not that type of player. He's a good star player who has defensive deficiencies. To give up most of these players, your youth, in this team, for him, I think Leon Rose will rather walk away and just build the youth, continue. Maybe it'll take us a couple of more years to get more players in, and maybe another 3 or 4 years to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I'll wait. I want to see what these kids are made of. But thank you, Paris. I appreciate you. Paris, once again, Fournier Rose won't go together. It's one or the other. If the contracts match, I don't know what the contract. I think Fournier and Rose will match the contract of Mitchell. I think Mitchell is making about $32 million. Fournier is making about 19. Rose is making about 15, 14, 15. So to make salaries match, I think Fournier and Rose will go together. I could be wrong in my numbers, Paris, and my apologies if my numbers are wrong, but I think Fournier and Rose can go in terms of matching up with the salaries, but I could be wrong. Thank you, Paris. We survived 100 people. Yes. At Pudge NYCE. What's up, OG? All right. What's up, Pudge? I agree, brother. Thank you. Chewy Chicken. As a Jazz fan, you can have Mitchell. Yeah, Chewy, we know he's a star. He has defensive deficiencies. And I think that like Danny Ainge, your GM there, is going to try to take the Knicks for a long ride and try to gather all our assets in this trade. And I think Leon Rose is too smart to do that. Thank you, Chewy. Appreciate you. Son from Brooklyn. Facts. Yes, facts from Brooklyn. Love you from Brooklyn, man. NYC here. Thank you, sir. 280 Peter Park. This guy said Dr. J. Yeah, I'm saying that Donovan Mitchell is not a Dr. J. I mean, I go back a little further. I'm probably telling you my age. I'm talking about Dr. J. Yeah, Dr. J. Played for the Nets and then became a Philadelphia 76er. I loved him growing up, so I probably told you my age. But yes, 280 Parker, Peter Parker. Dr. J. I went there. I went a blast from the past. Thank you, 280. I appreciate you, brother. Paris, San Diego, Silver Ghost. That's not realistic. Yeah, I think. Yeah, look, Paris. I think a lot of this our opinion. I don't think it's realistic either. I'm just thinking what I would do and what Leon Rose would do. Leon Rose is not going to mortgage the future to get a star player here. So this is my opinion. You make a good point there, Paris. Thank you. It's a minimum of 5-6 picks. I agree with you, Paris. It's a minimum of 5-6 picks. I don't think the Knicks are going any further than 5-6 unless you keep a Grimes and they'll up it to maybe 7 or 8 if you keep a Grimes and just get rid of a Cam and you get rid of a Rose and Fournier in that package deal and a McBride. I can see the Knicks up the ante just to keep Grimes on the team. But they got Wi-Fi. We never get rising stars. We usually get washed up vets. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build up. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is not a washed up vet. He's 25 years of age, made the All-Star team. He is an All-Star. My concern is giving up too much to get him here. Bodega Wi-Fi, I appreciate you, brother. But I think the Knicks are going to stand pat, especially Leon Rose. Leon Rose is not going to mortgage the whole Knicks youth. I call them the young guns of the future Knicks. These assets are so valuable, and Danny Ainge knows that. So that's why Danny Ainge is trying to see if he has an Isaiah Thomas on his hands, or he has a Scott Layton, or even Scott Perry, who would made this trade 2 or 3 days ago and give up the farm and picks and all your assets to get a Donovan Mitchell. And I think Knick Nation would be very unhappy if we give up all these assets. We get a Donovan Mitchell, and yet we have no team to support him. Thank you, Bodega Wi-Fi. I appreciate you. Keith Turner, we need talent, and this is what has to be done. It happened. It's happening, whether we like it or not. Yeah, Keith Turner, look, it's going to happen. The question is, what is Leon Rose going to give? I appreciate you, Keith. Thank you. Chewy Chicken, if the Knicks get Mitchell, it would be like when they got Carmelo all over again. I 100% agree with you. I spoke about that earlier with Juby. We cannot mortgage the future the way we did with Carmelo, but Carmelo was a superstar. Donovan Mitchell is a star at best with defensive liabilities. Remember that front court of the Knicks, it's going to be very weak defensively. Let's see if Tom Thibodeau can work his magic. I know people say Obi's defense is a lot to be desired, but this is Tibbs' job and the actual the staff to get these guys ready. You know, the coaching staff to get these guys ready defensively. Man, that's why Woodson would have been staying here with the Knicks would have been so great. But he took a college gig. Congratulations to Coach Woodson, and we need a defensive presence that can teach these guys how to play defense. And Tom Thibodeau is not the guy for the job. He's more of an offensive-minded coach. Thank you, Chewy. Gamer, Knicks need to just give all 8 picks, Evan, Rose, McBride, and Cam, because it means nothing if you're not in the playoffs. Gamer, I agree with you, man. Look, 8 picks, Evan Fournier, Rose, McBride, and Cam, I'll sign for that right now. I'll sign it. You still keep the core of having Grimes, who's going to be the best defender on that team. Quentin Grimes, I'm going to say it again, between him and Mitchell Robinson are going to be the 2 best defenders on this team. And what has the Knicks been lacking? Defense, especially last year. That front court with Kemba and Fournier was like Olay. People just ran down the court, and Mitchell Robinson, had to do double, triple duty just to play defense and catch up to these guys. So I agree with you, Gamer. Highly intelligent comment there. The Knicks have to give more picks, keep their prime youthful players. I would give up Evan Fournier, a Rose, McBride, and a Cam. And if you do that and keep the core, you can be making the playoffs this year easily. Thank you, iGamer. Okay. See what we got here next. I think I lost my space. Wow, I got all these comments. Wow, I need to catch up, guys. Here we go. We survived 100 people. I don't even want Mitch at this point. This is about to be the first season we let the youth completely loose. I want to see what they have before we move them. I agree. We survived 100 people. That's my sentiment. I let Leon Rose build this from the foundation, from the ground up. Man, that's a great comment on your end, man. I'm all for that. If we don't get Mitchell, I'm all for that. To give up our prime players that we drafted, that's showing promise in the Grimes, I wouldn't want to do it. Let's keep Grimes, the foundation. Let Danny Ainge come to us with an offer that we can't resist, and then we'll pull the trigger. Great observation on your end. We survived 100 people. Thank you, brother. The Knicks front office knows what they're doing. Yes, they are. Leon Rose, I trust. I say Leon Rose, I always say I trust in the man. He doesn't play checkers. He plays chess. He plays a little Chinese checkers at times, as you see in the draft. He goes back and forth, little Chinese checkers, but he's a chess man, and I appreciate having in Leon Rose I trust. Tom Thibodeau, I'm still worried about his decision-making last year. Hopefully he'll make up for it this year. But in Leon Rose, I do trust. Thank you, son from Brooklyn. I agree with you 100%. 280, Peter Parker. This guy said Dr. J. Yes, I said Dr. J. If the deal Grimes, they can't get quickly at one another, they won't take Randall, so Obi, which sucks. Yeah, I agree, Paris. Grimes, man. I don't want to lose Grimes. They can't give quickly. I agree. They won't take Randall, so it's going to be Obi. I don't think so, man. I hope not. I think Nick Nation knows that if Obi is dealt in this deal here, I think there'll be a riot somewhere around Madison Square Garden giving an Obi. You know the love that people have for Obi Toppin, the energy, the passion, the smile, the desire for him to get better. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Leon Rose is going to deal his first pick as a as the president of the Knicks organization, and that was Obi Toppin. So I don't think that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. They'll be rioting in New York City. Do not trade for Mitchell. We'll get him in 2 years. You can do that too as well. I think Danny Ainge has to get rid of him because already Mitchell is already saying how he loves New York, how he's posturing for New York. It's all set and done almost basically. Keith said it best, man. He thinks the deal is going to be done by Monday, but I think it's going to take a few weeks. But let the deal come to us. Let's not be chasing Danny Ainge for him. If the deal is not something that's suitable for this Knicks team, walk away and build with the youth. Thank you, 280, Peter Parker. Appreciate you. Gamer. Rose expiring, so that's more exciting for the Jazz since they don't want to keep him in a long-term deal. Evan is making 18, and Rose is making about 14, so the contract will match. So thank you, iGamer. That's good information on your side. So I was very close with the salaries. I said 19 for Evan and 15 for Rose. So the match will match up in terms of salary because I think Mitchell is making 32 a year. So thank you, iGamer. Appreciate that. Knicks Yak, you think Utah wants Fournier and Rose? I don't. Just to make the salaries match up at the end, yes, you have to take those two players in that sense of it. But you are going to have to give more assets than that. They're looking for the youth. They're looking for Obi, Quickly, Cam, Grimes, and abundance of number one picks. They're looking at 7, 8 picks last time I heard. So Nick Yak, I don't think they want to make the salaries work. If they get the assets in number one picks and the players they're looking for, you can be assured that Fournier and Rose will be in that deal just to make the salaries work somehow, some way, one or the other, the salaries to work. Thank you, Nick Yak. Chewy Chicken, Mitchell is a straight up traffic cone on defense. Yeah, I said it, man. Brunson ate him alive in that Dallas Jazz series, man. I mean, Brunson did whatever he did. He just went by. He can't move his feet, man. I mean, it's visible. I watched the games, and I saw that Donovan Mitchell was clueless defensively, man. So Mitchell Robinson is going to have a lot of work in front of him coming up this coming season, man. Thank you, Chewy Chicken. Francisco. What's happened to the third year? What happened to the third year of what? Not sure what you're trying to say. But maybe I'm behind the chat here, so I apologize, Francisco, that I can't answer that. People underestimate Reddish, the guy who can guard 4 positions, and he's close friends with RJ. He needs a proper chance since we're giving them one pick for him. I agree, man. I'm a Cam guy as well, man. But if you had a choice between giving up Cam or Grimes, who would you pick? Wow, man, that's a tough choice, man. Defensively, I take Grimes. Offensively, and just because it's RJ's pal, Cam, but look, man, flip of a coin. That's a tough call. But if I had a choice, I would lean toward Grimes. His future looks so bright. And plus, Cam's contract is coming up. You're going to have to give him a payday coming up. And I think for those reasons, I think the Knicks will stick. If they had a choice of switching, picking any of those two players, I think it'll be Grimes because of the contract year coming up for Cam. Cam is going to be asking for a bag or bags of money. But thank you, Barry. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Paris, I don't think Ainge wants longer-term contract. Knicks will have to convince him to take a Fournier, or else that they'll probably have to give up more young guy. I agree, Paris. Very knowledgeable. I agree. Cisco, Alejandro, your numbers are correct. Yes, I was close, man. I won't say the exact correct, but I was close. I was just shot in the dark, man. I hit the bullseye for once, but thank you, Cisco. I appreciate you. Nick Yak, Dr. J was 6'9" forward. Yeah, I mean, comparison, he was an all-star. Donovan Mitchell is a star. That's why I was saying comparisons. He's not no Dr. J. And Dr. J, in his day, hey, he was one of the greatest. I watched him growing up, so I've seen a lot of Dr. J when he was with the Nets and when he was with the Sixers as well. What a talent. 280 Peter Parker, do not make the trade. I wouldn't if we have to give all these players and assets. I wouldn't do it as well. Thank you, 280. Elite Hunters, to think before the Knicks signed Robinson, Utah wanted Robinson and 3 first rounds for him. Then Minnesota does such a desperate trade, and Utah now thinks that they're stranded and walk away. Elite, you make a good choice there. I think They wanted Robinson part of that deal, but since now he signed a contract with the Knicks cannot put him in this trade package. Hardenstein, Mitch, and obviously Jalen Brunson and Jericho Sims cannot be part of this package. They just got signed to contracts. So good observations on your end, Elite. They cannot trade them. They only can be traded, I think, sometime in January. They just signed them, so I don't think the Knicks can put him in a trade package at all. And I think Danny Ainge knows this. Paris agreed. The more picks they give us, the less players they should include. Not sure how the salaries would match up. Yeah, I think the salaries would match up with Fournier and Rose in terms of getting Mitchell here. But how much of other players you have to give in the core of your youth and first round picks you have to give up? That's the question. And I think Leon Rose is going to play hardball or walk away. Thank you, Paris. Kennell Johnson, same thing in Utah. We get washed up vets, never stars. Listen, I feel the pain. You guys are going to be the worst team in NBA. You're going to probably have the #1 pick next year. So enjoy your rebuilding coming up in Utah, man. I think great things are ahead to come in your end. Danny Ainge, you have an assassin there who's going to get all the picks and all the talent that you need. He built that Boston Celtic team. If you looked at the players they have now, and Marcus Smart and the other players that are leading the team now, they made it to the finals. That had a lot to do with Danny Ainge. So you have a great representative in terms of a leader running that organization. Congratulations to you guys. Even though I'm not a Danny Ainge guy, Boston, sorry. But he has a bright future in Utah. Thank you. Carlton Stanton, Jughead salute. Would like to see you in slimmer, younger days. Okay, Jughead salute. I salute you, Carlton. I appreciate you. All right. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that, guys. Have no
audio. Everybody's been trying to talk to you, bro.
Thank you, brother. I'm sorry, man. I'm talking, no audio. I don't know what happened. My apologies, man. My apologies. Jeez, I answered so many questions. I want to apologize to guys. I got Juby the Tubi called me right now, and I had no audio. I don't know how my audio went down. If Grimes starts a shooting guard this season, he will give you 15, 5, and 5 with a huge ceiling. Walk away. Listen. Grimes is a starting guard this season. I think he can do that. I can definitely do that. He has a huge ceiling, and I think he'll be the best defensive player on the Knicks with Mitchell Robinson. I think Mitchell Robinson and Grimes are probably our best two defenders on that team. And then if Deuce is still on the team, he's probably that third defensive guard. I mean, Quentin Grimes is the best defender with Mitchell Robinson. Quickly is an average defender, so I can see that. 280, Peter Parker, do not make the trade. I agree. Guys, I want to apologize. I didn't have audio for the last 10, 15 minutes. My audio went. I don't know what happened. My apologies. I answered so many questions and a little shortcoming on my end here. Salutes, Bodega Y5, Gildan. So, okay, Bodega. How are you doing? Everybody from PR here. I appreciate you guys from the Isla Bonita in Puerto Rico. Okay, so we have Gildan. We have Paris. No way you should give up 8 picks. There's no reason to outbid ourselves. I agree with you, man. We have to stand pat, stay patient. I agree with you, Paris. I'm going to move along. Dolan has nothing to do with the day-to-day years, but okay, haters. Yeah, I think Dolan doesn't have anything to do with the operations. I agree with you. I think the haters out there, they're going to hate. You know, the press hates the Knicks. They give us a hard time, and we definitely got haters in our own backyard as well. So, look, we'll deal with it. The Knicks are in the right place with Leon Rose. I appreciate them, and I want to thank you, Nick Knack, for backing up Nick Nation, man. Send the whole damn house. Yeah, send the whole damn house. I don't know about that, Mike Monday. You must be a Utah Jazz fan. We're not going to do that. Leon Rose won't do that. Leon Rose is going to stand pat, and he's going to play hardball with Danny Ainge. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, brother. Toast my goats. You can sign 3 and D players. Any combo of Quickly and Grimes and picks is fine with me. Mitch is the needle mover, and you have to factor in and how well he improves Julius and RJ. Well, you can sign any 3 and D players, but this 3 and D player in Grimes can be a star, man. He is has a well-defined role on the Knicks right now. But if you have to give him up, I'm not crazy losing him. But if you have to give him up, I can take that, you know. But you cannot give up Obia quickly. I think Grimes would be my choice if I had a choice. Grimes and probably a Cam if you have to. But somebody mentioned the length on the team, Grimes and Cam. So there's a lot of decisions that Leon Rose has to make. I mean, my personal thing, I think Leon Rose is not going to give Obia quickly. I think he'll give a Cam before he gives a Grimes, but Grimes is definitely going in deal some way, somehow. And I think that the factor, it will improve Julius Randle and RJ just by having a Donovan Mitchell and a Jalen Brunson here. Thank you, Tostois Goats. Marcus, Knicks are so delusional. Went hard for Brunson, now going for the smallest backcourt in the NBA. Yeah, man. The delusion of winning a championship is here, man. I don't know if we're delusional. I think the management team has a plan, and we have to let that plan kind of just let it ride out. But we can't give the future. Obviously, all of our future assets. But if you can get a Mitchell here, you have to do it. Just how much are you willing to give? I'm not going to give our farm and our picks, all under more picks to Utah. But Marcus, hopefully one day we won't be delusional. Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Tosma Goat, Grimes ceiling isn't Mitchell's floor. We don't know that yet. I can tell you that. Grimes can outplay Mitchell defensive-wise anytime, any day. And Grimes offensively is getting there. I don't think That's of course, but right now, yeah, Mitchell is the player you're looking for. I would have to give Grimes in that deal, but you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. I'm just trying to defend Grimes. How can I defend him? Mitchell is an all-star, and Grimes is just a backup 3-and-D player at best. So thank you, Oscar. You found your calling, my brother, Oscar Torres from NYHP. I appreciate you. I didn't find my calling, brother. I was just trying to kill some time. But thank you, brother. Pass my regards to all the people out there. NYHP, is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called anymore. But thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Missed you, man. Remember all the fun times in the past. Go Knicks, brother. Thank you, Oscar. Stuart Horowitz. Grimes looks so great in Summer League. I think Jazz are going to insist on him. I agree, man. Grimes is going to go in that deal, Stuart. Somehow, some way. He is going in that deal. I hate to say it, but you have to give something in return to get a player of Mitchell and Donovan Mitchell's capacity, man. He's a good, not a great player, but he's an all-star, so I respect that. We'll definitely give Grimes in that deal. Snipes Entertainment, when Mitchell demands a trade for the Jazz, love leverage. That's it. He is. He's not going to stay for a team who's going to be the worst team in the NBA. I think that's going to happen. This trade is going to happen. What the Knicks are going to give up, that's the question, man. Oscar Torres, brother. Much love, man. Yeah, we have to get together one day for some brews, man. A Mexican and a Puerto Rican in a bar, man. How can we make that work, brother? We'll make it work, man. A couple of good brews, man. Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate you, man. Liquid Swords. OB sucks. Yeah, man. I mean, look, defensive-wise, I can say, yeah, that part of it, I may say he is not sufficient in. Offensively, man, he can bring some magic with quickly on this court and the energy. But let's see what happens, Liquid, man. And hopefully Obi won't suffer us this year, man. Thank you, brother. I don't want this trade to drag out during the season. It's terrible for the locker room to have that looming. I agree, Bodega. It shouldn't. This is going to happen within the next 2 or 3 weeks at best. I don't see this going on any further. I can see the Knicks walking away or Danny Ainge giving in to the Knicks' demands. Check me out. The Knicks demands. Leon Rose demands. He plays, man. He plays chess, man. He plays a little Chinese checkers, but he's a hard, good chess player. So I look for Leon Rose to get his man and not give up and mortgage our future. Thank you, Bodega. Paris. If somehow hold on to Quick Obi, then we win the trade. Yeah, I agree, man. We hold on to Quick and Obi, we definitely win this trade. I think we'll compensate them with more assets that they're looking for in terms of second rounders and some first round picks. Thank you, Paris. iGamer, if Obi gets traded, I'm going to have people ride outside MSG. Yeah, I think that's what I said before. I had my audio off. I want to apologize, guys. I think my audio mic fell down and it turned off. I don't know. I got excited here. But, yeah, I agree, man. There'll definitely be a ride outside MSG. I don't see Leon Rose giving up Obi, his first pick in the draft as a president for the Knicks. I don't think he's going anywhere. Thanks, iGamer. Nick Yak. Grimes is better shooting threes and twice the defender and not 6'1". Hey, Nick Yak, I like the way you defend our people, Nick Nation, man. Yeah, it's true, man. He's 6'5". He's about 205. He plays defense. He can shoot the rock. He drives to the lane. You're watching him in the summer league, man. He's talented, man. Very talented, man. So, yeah, man, it's hard to give him away, but you have to give him away if Donovan Mitchell is in that package. You have to give some talent away. I hate to see him go, but it seems like Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau is enamored by Donovan Mitchell. He could bring a lot to this team, not defensively. As you saw in that playoff series against Dallas, Jalen Brunson ate him alive. But thank you, Nick Nack. I appreciate you. Canal Johnson, he's from New York, and his dad is in the front office in the Mets. That's why we want the New York. Listen, man, I think that's going to happen because of that. And because he's been in New York. He's been telling Danny Ainge he wants to go to New York. Danny Ainge knows that the Knicks have all the assets, has the players he's looking for. This is a no-brainer. The question is Leon Rose going to fall for the Rudy Gobert trap and giving up all these first-rounders and players on your team? We need to build the foundation with this young core. I call them the young guns. They need to continue building. If you can get a Donovan Mitchell here, fine, but do not mortgage the future. I better stop tapping before I knock my mic out again. Thank you, Canal Johnson. I appreciate you, brother. Snipes Entertainment. We will forget Mitchell when we draft Victor. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's going to go. That player is going to go to the Jazz, man. The Jazz is going to be the worst team in the NBA. I can't even pronounce his Latin name. Wamba. Listen, my Latin in me has me butchering names. So, but yeah, I know of the player, and I think that he'll be drafted in the top 3, and I think the Jazz will go for a player like that. But thank you, Snipes. Appreciate you. Logic says, not now, stay true. Yeah, I agree, man. You have to stay true to the youth, man. I agree. Thank you, Francisco. 280 Peter Parker. Fournier is off the bench. Wow, I'm behind, guys. I'm sorry, man. Off the bench, here's our kryptonite, Boston. Yeah, it's kryptonite for Boston, but we have to win more games than beating Boston, Peter. I think we need to Fournier's days here are probably numbered. If not now, I think by the All-Star break, I think you can see Fournier going on a contender to win a championship elsewhere, or if he's not part of this trade coming up with Donovan Mitchell. Thank you, Peter. Todd James, as a Jazz fan, Knicks would be better off keeping their young players. Mitchell plays absolutely no defense. Brunson scores 40 against him, and it's just, hey, I said that. Listen, I don't know if you watched the game, okay? Donovan Mitchell can't move his feet. People talk about Obi Toppin has problem. Listen, he is as bad as Obi's Toppin moving feet, or worse. He can't. Jalen Brunson ate him alive. So that's a good observation on your part, Todd James, man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, man. And my apologies to Nick Nation. I had the mic off for about 10 minutes. I think I knocked my mic off the table and it turned off. So I want to apologize to all who's watching. So we have Paris. The young players either Rose or Fournier makes the salaries work. Fournier and Rose and all the young guys are now the Jazz took too much salary. Look, I think the Fournier and Rose salaries do kind of match. If they take more players, the salaries won't match. So you'll probably have to give Fournier, and the Rose will stay. Yeah, okay. You make sense there. Yes, Fournier will go in that deal. Rose will stay, and the other players that they do get will try to match salary somehow, some way. So that's a good observation on your end. But if you just trade Rose and Fournier, the salaries do match up straight up. But if you give other players along the way, we may give them too much salary in return. So they'll probably send us a player back. Some kind of veteran guy who's making probably nothing or making a high salary that they want to dump to us for, depending how many years he has on that contract. Thank you, Paris. Very knowledgeable on your end. Liquid Sword, Spidey will go to the Heat. Man, Liquid Sword, look, to make this agonizing kind of trade stuff that's happening, that Nick Nation thinks that we're going to get Donovan Mitchell, which I think it's going to happen. But if he went to the Heat, I'm fine with that, but the Heat, they don't have the assets. Tyler Hero is the assets that they have. They don't have the draft capital. That's why Danny Ainge has continued negotiating with Leon Rose for that one reason. They can get 6 to 8 number 1 picks from us and some young assets. The Heat can't beat that. Can't compete with us with that. So I don't think it's going to happen. I wish they'd just take him away so we could just build our own team, from the foundation up, man. I believe in Leon Rose and the foundation he's building with this young team. I wouldn't mind he went to the Heat, man. Let him go to the Heat. But the Heat don't have anything to offer in terms of assets. So I don't think that's going to happen, Liquid. Thank you, sir. Oscar, building from within, NY, New York Knicks. Yes, we have to do that, Oscar. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you again, man. Big task at hand. Okay. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop. In the name of love. Big task at hand. No, I totally agree, man. If they're asking for too much, big task, we have to walk away. Walk away. We don't have to run. Just walk away with our heads held up high because we have a thriving team coming in the future. I know the Knick Nation, they're tired of waiting and waiting and waiting. But let's build this team the correct way. Thank you, Big Task. That's Melo's deal all over again. Look at how long it took us after the Knicks just to be relevant again. The word of these talks could last for weeks. Danny is trying to gut the Knicks. Agent Super Argo, I agree with you, man. This is Danny Ainge's game. Look what he did to Minnesota, man. For Rudy Gobert. Come on. Minnesota is going to pay the price for that, man. In the long run, they're going to pay the price for that. And I don't want the Knicks to be in that situation, man. Thank you, Agent Super Argo. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Gamer. According to the Windy and other to Windy and other sports people, salary has to match. We can't just trade all our young guys because we have to also pay RJ. Yeah, RJ has to get paid. Remember, Cam Reddish has to get paid as well, man. They came up in the same year. So Leon Rose knows what he's doing. I think some salaries coming up. But RJ is definitely going to get paid. And I think they'll try to get that deal done sometime before the season starts just to maybe negotiate a nice deal for the Knicks in terms of salary. But I can see the Knicks doing this deal sometime before the season starts. Mitchell doesn't move the needle for New York. Still not better than Boston middle. Man, Marcus, like the philosopher Aurelius, man, you have wisdom, man. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't at this juncture. It doesn't move the needle. So why would you want to give all these assets, man? Marcus Aurelius, man, that's a good point. That's actually a great point. It's probably the best point of the evening. It doesn't move the needle, but what it does do, and what it does is you bring a star player here. Maybe, just maybe, we can get some other players coming, some free agents coming to New York to make this team kind of a team of the future, man, because no one wants to come to New York, man. Who wants to come to New York? You have no one. You have a Randall who has anger issues, and you don't have talent here. By bringing Donovan Mitchell, you bring talent. You bring a Jalen Brunson, you bring talent. Now there'll be some free agents next year that will want to come to the Knicks. That's the only reason that Leon Rose is thinking of the future, because you're right. It doesn't really move the needle. We make the play-in game. We'll make the 7th, 8th seed at best, depending how Coach Tibbs coaches. Marcus, grade 1 comment on your end. Absolutely. I agree with you. Peter Parker, Utah Jazz. Yeah, the Utah Jizz. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate you. Hey, Shay, long time no see. Salutes to the chat. Salutes to you, Shay. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a good few weeks, man, but thank you for coming back on. I appreciate you. Mr. Day 4641, the fact that the reports say the deal was close, but then you hear the Jazz offer was 6 number ones, Obi, IQ, Grimes, make me question what our front office smoking. Mr. Day, you cannot make that trade. You give up 6 number ones, Obi, IQ, and Grimes. There'll be a revolution in NYC, man. A big revolution. And they'll be surrounding MSG, the guard, man. If you make a trade like this, I mean, you just gutted the whole team. And plus, you give future assets in the first round. You give him Obi, IQ, and Grimes? Wow. Nah, Mr. Day. I'm sorry. I disagree with you. That can happen, won't happen. And Leon Rose plays chess, not checkers. Thank you, Mr. Day. I appreciate you, brother. Big task at hand. If the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell, there should be a protest outside the Groton. Big task. It depends. It depends what they give up. If they give up what Mr. Day said, IQ, Grimes, and Obi, and 6 number 1 picks, then there will be a protest. Riots, pitchforks. We'll even call Shrek to start the event with the pitchforks. But yeah, big task. I think that we have to make a deal for Donovan Mitchell. Something suitable to our terms, not Danny Ainge terms. So I agree with you, big task. We cannot give Obi. We cannot give up quickly. We cannot give up our core players and 6 to 8 number 1 picks. Then there will be riots outside Madison Square Garden. Thank you, big task. Captain Coke 70, Captain and Coke 70. No one can offer Utah what we can. We're only bidding against ourselves. I'd rather no deal than a bad deal. I agree with you, man. We can't do the Amari Stoudemire thing. We bid it against ourselves and we give him all this money when no one was offering him the kind of money we gave Amari Stoudemire. I agree with you. I think we wait. I think they want to deal Mitchell. And I think we can get them to lower down the deal, maybe less picks and maybe keep a Grimes. If that happens, I think Leon Rose will be president of the year, and I think Nick Nation will be very happy. Thank you, Captain. Marcus Aurelius. A big task. I agree, but they were excited to get Brunson. So, yeah, I agree. Sorry, I'm old school. Stupid phone. Third year of rebuilding. Stay the course ourselves. Yeah, Francisco, I agree. Stay the course, man. Stay the course. Captain, Minnesota screwed the Knicks. Minnesota screwed the Knicks. How did Minnesota screw the Knicks, Captain? How did Minnesota screw the Knicks? Oh, well, okay, now I got you. My apologies. Well, yeah, when you give up all those assets and you give up players and like 5 number 1 picks, yeah, in that sense of it, Danny Ainge thinks he can pull this with everyone, but he doesn't realize he's dealing with Leon Rose. So I think Leon Rose is going to stay the course. We're going to get Mitchell by our terms, not give up too much of our assets, keep that foundation going. I would rather give up more picks and keep the foundation. Don't give up an Obi. Do not give up a Quickly. So that's a good observation on your end, Captain. I appreciate you, brother. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. I think Leon Rose's job is on the line depending on what happens here. Yeah, I don't know if his job will be on the line, but it depends. If he gives up all his assets, I think his job could be on the line, especially if the Knicks don't make the playoffs next year. But I think his leash is much longer than Tom Thibodeau's. I think Tom Thibodeau needs to perform next year much better than he did this past year. If not, I can see Thibodeau going before Leon Rose. Thanks, Knicks. We'll be a champ in 2026. Yes, I think there'll be a Summer League champ coming up. I have to get that information. They'll be playing the Portland Trailblazers. I have to get that information on the Summer League championship. So that'll be a championship for now. 2026, I can see the Knicks being probably in the finals or maybe Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know about champs, but I like your optimism. Knicks will be in champs in 2026. I appreciate you. Juby the Tubi, we appreciate you. Thanks for comments. Guys, support. Let's go Knicks. Juby, go to bed, man. Your son wants a little quality time. No, thank you, Juby. I appreciate your comment, brother, man. Without you, man, I'm nothing here. Thank you, Juby. I appreciate you. Nick Knack, Wojo says they're not even talking maybe in a few weeks. Yes, because Leon Rose is walking away. Danny Ainge is out of his mind. We're not going to give up all these players. We're not the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're not going to give up all these assets and players. Danny Ainge is playing with a different type of cat. Este gato inteligente. This cat is a smart cat. That's Leon Rose. He plays chess. Sometimes he plays a little Chinese checkers when he's drafting, but he plays pure hardcore chess. He doesn't play checkers. And I think Danny Ainge has a rude awakening in front of him. Juby, thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate you, man. I'm like 30 minutes behind. Jeez, guys. I'm sorry, man. Captain and Coke, I like buying a car. You have to be willing to walk out of the dealership. Yeah, man. I like buying cars too, but if the if the price is over the roof, man, and the salesman is trying to pull a fast one on you, man, to fill his pockets in terms of his fees and his commission, man, you have to walk, man. You definitely have to walk. Thank you, Captain. I appreciate you. Marcus, Celtic fan, and yeah, F Danny Ainge. Yes! I agree with you, Marcus. Thank you. And Marcus, hey, what's going on? The Knicks did good with acquiring Jalen Brunson. The Knicks should let Brunson orchestrate the offense and build from there. I agree, man. Listen, if you don't get Donovan Mitchell, you still got Jalen Brunson. So we can still beat with the youth. We still got Grimes. You still have Cam. You can see what these kids are made of. I agree, Big Task. Look, man, I agree. Thank you, Big Task. Great observation. Audio's gone. Yeah, I know, Juby. I was gone for about 10, 15 minutes, brother. Yeah, thank you, guys. Sound went out. Yeah. Thank you, man. That's how behind I am. I lost sound. No audio. No audio. Damn. Oh, man. I apologize, guys. Fix your audio. That's how behind I was, guys. Thank you. Audio. Oscar's calling. Oh, my God. No sound. Oh, my gosh. Can't hear you guys. No sound. Ray, no audio. Jeez, man. I feel like a fool, guys. I apologize. Braveheart. Does he look at the chat? No audio on my end. No, I didn't look at the chat, guys. My mic, Braveheart, my mic fell down. It seemed like it turned off my audio, and I apologize for that, guys. I'm like 2 hours into this, and my stamina is not as good as it used to be. Yeah, thank you. Fix your audio. Jeez, guys. I just found the channel today and sub up. Nick's Pride. Big task. I appreciate you, brother. He is 4 minutes behind the chat. Yeah, guys, I'm moving along. Can you do Yo, damn. Can you do sign language? Yeah, man, I need to learn that, especially if my mic broke down. Oof. Excellent audio. Okay, good. We're back on the audio. Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate you. No audio, big task. Man, I answered so many questions from you guys. I apologize, man. I have to be more observant, man. And yeah, man, I should be looking at my monitor in terms of looking at the audio sequencing, and I didn't do it. I apologize once again. Okay. Let's go here. Big task. 6 first rounders. I would do that. My hearing is going. That was me. The hearing's not going, Stuart. It's my me being just deaf, dumb, and blind and not correcting the situation. But I thank Juby for correcting me and helping me out. Marcus, got to give Ainge his due. To know how to sucker a sucker. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, Silver Ghost, I apologize, brother. No audio for 10 minutes. I agree, man. That's a no-no on my end, man. I apologize to you guys once again, man. I have to make it up to you guys somehow. Got to give Ainge his just due. He just knows how to sucker a sucker. We just spoke about that, Marcus. I think so, and I think Leon Rose won't be part of that sucker. Anyone? Frank Matos. This is a great line here, guys. Anyone a lip reader? No audio. I'm trying to contact him. Yeah, no, guys. I'm behind schedule here. I'm gonna try to move it up, guys. I need some help here, guys. I wish we had super chat. Yeah, I'm working on the super chat. Braveheart. I wish I'm working on the super chat in the next few days. Hopefully in the next week or so I'll have the super chat on. I won't have it until then. I'm still setting up. I have so much stuff going on in my life. I appreciate you, Braveheart, and that's a great observation. We'll get the super chats done hopefully in the next week or so. We're back. Yes. Oh, my God. We're back, Aurelius. Marcus, I appreciate you. I lost it, guys. We're back. So sorry. I called him. The phone was ringing, man. I saw you on it. I thought something happened, so I should answer your call, Juby. My apologies. Don, PF914, welcome, man. Nice seeing you again. Yeah, we're good. Juby to Tubi, big task at hand. Thank you, brother. I appreciate all you guys. Let me say, man, you guys are fantastic, man. My comments and the thumbs up and you guys subscribing to my channel, I'm very grateful. I just want to say that, guys. You guys, Nick Nation, are the best. You are my band of brothers. Everyone from Puerto Rico, from Latin America, from Jamaica, from the Caribbean, man. You guys are my band of brothers. And in NYC, where I'm from right now, band of brothers, Nick Nation, anybody around the world, anybody here, man, you guys are the greatest, man. Patience, you guys are still here after losing order for 10 minutes. Shows your dedication, the love for Knicks, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Good night. Knicks in playoff 2023. They have a deep talent, dangerous team with really point guard. Finally, they will go far. Thank you, Silver Ghost. I think that Donovan Mitchell doesn't have to be made. I think Silver Ghost is correct. With Brunson running the show, I think we have a lot going for ourselves. Juby the GOAT. Juby the GOAT. Juby the GOAT. Yeah, Juby. Juby is the GOAT, man. If it was for him, I wouldn't be around, guys. He's my right arm and my left leg, man. He's all good, man. Braveheart. Juby. The Knicks have leverage here. People don't realize no other team can offer what the Knicks have. Paris, we went over that. I agree with you. Thank you, Paris. You've been a prime contributor tonight. I appreciate you. Knicks have to go back to shooting guard with Grimes and backing up. I agree. Michael, I'm speeding it up a little bit, guys, because I have to get off in the next 10, 15 minutes. I'm perspiring here. These lights above me is making my bald head shine, man. Shine, let it shine. Michael, 5 1s and Grimes. I would do that, but then you have to make the contracts match. You probably have to give a Fournier there. Good observation on your end, Mike. I would do that. 5 1s Grimes and a Fournier to make the for it to match. And probably you'd have to throw not a Rose, but yeah, that'll work, man. I'll do that in a second, Mike. I'll do that in a second. Stuart, I can hear. Yes, Stuart. My apologies, man. That's a no-no on my end, man. That's a no-no on my end. That's bad boys and Ray. Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate you. Fournier, Cam, 5 picks. That is nothing else. Love you. Love our young guys. Yeah, listen, I love the young youth. I'll build with the youth. Let's continue doing that. And if we get Donovan Mitchell, we get him for not mortgaging the farm and your picks and your future picks. I'm all in for it. If not, let's walk away and build this the way Leon Rose wants it. The only thing I want to mention, remember, Tibbs is a veteran play type player. He wants veterans, guys that know what they're doing. So if anybody's pushing for Mitchell, is Tom Thibodeau. His job is on the line more than Leon Rose's job on the line. He has to perform well, and he needs the players to do that. So why not push for Donovan Mitchell? I think he's behind that 101%. Thank you, New Yorker. I appreciate you, brother. Knick-knack, Summer League, we are first and looking good for the championship game. Oh, the Knicks, let's say that again. The Knicks are involved in a championship game. Summer League, and the MVP will be Quentin Grimes. Thank you, Knick-knack. I would love to give up Obi and Quickly together before Grimes. Nick Yak, you would give up Obi and Quickly together before Grimes? We were having a good relationship here, Nick Yak. Wow, I disagree with you. I wouldn't do that. I know you love Grimes. I love Grimes too, but you'll give up either Obi or Quickly before Grimes? Listen, you need that tandem together. I don't know, man. That's a tough call. I would disagree with you that. I think Leon Rose would disagree with you with that. But I understand where you're coming from. Grimes is a special player. He's going to be a special player. Knicks are a hell of a dumb. Okay. No, they're not. I think Leon Rose it would have been hell of a dumb if he would have gave up all these players like an Obi, Quickly, Grimes, and 7 number 1 picks. He would have been hell of a dumb. Drizzy, I disagree with you, but let's see what happens. Things can change overnight, but I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Marcus, delusional was a bad choice of words. More like, I wonder if the organization really wants to win anything. I don't know, man. Prezi the boss. Good night, sir. I know you were on and I was off audio, man. I appreciate you coming on. My apologies. I couldn't chat with you, Prezi the boss. Hey, Prezi the boss, one of our first subscribers on the channel. Very, very knowledgeable Knick fan. If you ever get a chance to chat with Prezi the boss, man, do so. Very highly intelligent man. Man, I'm behind, guys. Stewart says, I agree with the Knicks. Knick-knack, not in the Knicks past. Don, let me see what Don has to say. All right, Nick Yak, I thought we was cool. I'm going to let you slide with that one. Obi and Quickly comment. Hey, Don, I said the same thing, man. I don't know. I think he's getting tired. I'm getting tired up here. But I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there, guys. Nick Yak, it surprised me on that one. I agree with you, Don. Okay, Germany, not the Knicks of the past, playing chess, not checkers. I agree, Jeremy. The Knicks don't play. They may play a little Chinese checkers in the drafting area of the Knicks Nation part, but when it comes to straight negotiation, we play chess, man. Super Mario, Denzel, how do you think Mitchell and Brunson are going to be? I think they're going to be a tandem. Offensively, we have nothing to worry about. I think this team is going to flow offensively. Defensively is where I fear that the Knicks. I think Mitchell Robinson is going to earn his hard-earned money. I'll put it that way. So the Knicks have to find a defensive stopper some way, somehow. When you give up a Grimes, you're losing one of your best defenders on the team. Thank God we have Mitchell Robinson. We signed Mitchell Robinson. So expect Mitchell Robinson to play heavy-duty minutes. Hopefully he won't get injured. Thank you, Super Mario. Nick Nack, we're cool, but that's how I feel. Yeah, I respect how you feel, brother. Listen, Don and myself respect all Nick Nation's opinions, man. May be something I don't agree with, and I don't think Leon Rose may do, but hey, you never know, man. I've seen crazier things. Marcus Aurelius, yo, hit the like button for this man. Yes, guys, listen. 10 minutes without no audio. I'm sweating here. I'm procrastinating about certain trades happening, but I'm not procrastinating one thing. I think this trade is gonna happen with the Knicks. Donovan Mitchell will be here. I won't procrastinate with that, but Marcus, yes, thank you. Thumbs up, comment, give me your input, guys. I'm here. Juby's here to answer any of your questions. We might not agree on a lot of things, and I don't know everything, but I can tell you this. I know that Nick Nation want to win. We build with the foundation. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate that support, man. Summer League. Yes, the Knicks Summer League was very impressive. I could put some highlights here while we're talking a little bit before we end the show. The Knicks were very impressive. We got 280. Peter Parker, of course, the organization wants to win. They will be worth $7 billion if they won the chip. Wow, is that right? What are they worth now? They have to be worth at least $5 billion, if not $4 billion. That's a good observation you're in. Would they be worth $7 billion if they win the chip? Wow, I'm gonna do some homework tonight. Thank you, Peter Parker. You made my mind think here. I will check that out. That's a good observation on your end. Tracks official, Fournier, Cam, Deuce, and 6 picks. Where do I sign? Where do I sign? Tracks Life. Where you been, man? Good observation on your end, man. That's good observation. That's a deal that I think Leon Rose will be comfortable doing. Thank you, Trax. Oh, man, that's one of the top trades I've seen so far that I agree with, at least. I don't know if Nick Nation, if Danny Ainge will do, but I think we will wait him out. This is the kind of trade I think the Knicks will do. It's Fournier, Cam, Deuce, and 6 picks. And if we get to keep Grimes on top of that, wow, great stuff. They can find another Grimes. D, nice. They probably could in the draft. But if we're giving up a first draft capital, where are we going to find them? It's going to take some time to find a player like Grimes. But, hey, it tells you how the Knicks draft the last few years. They've been outstanding, to say the least, man. Thank you, D. I appreciate you. Knicks will be 2026 champs. NBA teams could trade for Mitchell, keep their 3 best players, and not pull the trigger. I don't think there's anybody out there. I think the Knicks are the only one they have. Unless they involve another team. I think, by Ayton's signing, it kind of threw off Brooklyn a little bit because Brooklyn was going for to make a trade to try to get Donovan Mitchell here or Ayton in some kind of package, 3-team package. That kind of spoiled them from making any kind of moves. But the Knicks are the only team that right now that can pull this. For Danny Ainge, I think Danny Ainge knows that. I think Danny Ainge knows that the Knicks are the only qualifying team that has the assets, has the players, and Donovan Mitchell wants to come to New York. Lawton Crow, Jazz fan here. I want Obi and 5 picks. Hey, man, I appreciate you, Law, man. I appreciate you. You're a Jazz fan. You guys are going to be the worst team in NBA. But let me tell you something. You guys have a heady leader in that organization, in Danny Ainge. He just got you a load of players and picks for Rudy Gobert. I think he expects to get the same from us. I don't think Leon Rose a trade Obi, man. But I as a Jazz fan, I would want an Obi on my team as well. 5 picks. That's very gracious of you, man. Gracious of you, Law. I don't think Leon Rose would do that. Obi is a keeper here in New York. I'll give you 7 picks, and I'll throw in a Quentin Grimes, or I'll throw you a Cam Reddish and a McBride. I'll throw you Quentin Grimes and 6 picks. I don't know. You have to receive something fair and value. So, I don't know. Thank you, Law. I appreciate you. 8 to 7 seed, first-round playoff exit at best. Yeah, Don. It doesn't move the needle, man. It just moves the needle in terms of more free agents coming in the future. Great observation, Don. I appreciate you. Man, I'm so behind, guys. I am so sorry. Guys, I'm going to go to the bottom. I hate to skip everybody else so I can catch everybody here. Let me get some new people here. I am sorry if I'm skipping over people, but I am behind schedule. Let me go to we go to Adele Chapman, first time checking out the show. Thank you, Adele. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We do about a show, two shows a week. I put some information out there. If you like it, thumbs up. Subscribe. It's free. I appreciate you being here. And thank you, man. I appreciate it, Ms. Chapman. I appreciate you. And Don, we have Mitchell is no scrub, but let's keep it. Hey, Buck, he is. I don't think he's going to get any more better than he is now. Yeah, his upside is. I agree with you, Don. Don, you're my second go-to guy when it comes to Knicks knowledge. I don't think. Yeah, I agree. Defensively, if he would get better defensively, then it'll be a great trade in terms of future trade for the Knicks and getting a defensive player plus an offensive player. But let's be realistic, man. He's not going to play the defense you're looking for. So I don't see Mitch as moving the needle. But for future stars coming in the future, I can see that happening. So let's get back to Ainge wants to draft Hero. Well, Marcus, I think getting Tyler Hero and you have no assets behind that. I think the Heat are not in contention. They don't have the assets we have. So I think Hero is not the only player Ainge wants. He wants assets. Management wants assets. If you read that closely and what Danny Ainge did to Minnesota, grabbed all these draft picks and some assets as well in terms of players. I would give 3 first-round picks, 2003, Knicks 2004 pick, 2025 Bucks pick. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you put Quick in there, and understand why you put Quick. You have to give something. You give Grimes and Quickly. I don't know, man. I don't think Leon Rose. I hope Leon Rose will make that trade, but it's a lot. It's just a lot. That's a big haul, Eddie. That's a big haul. I don't think Leon Rose is going to go for that. But to get a talent like Donovan Mitchell, you have to give something to get something. But I wouldn't personally make that trade, and I don't think Leon Rose will make it as well. Thank you, Eddie. Man, I'm behind, guys. I'm sorry. People don't understand getting to be a playoff is good. People don't understand getting to the playoff is a good thing, even if it's the 7th. Look, this is the predicament you fall in. You give all this draft capital, so you get into the playoffs. You give up your assets already. You have no future building of the foundation in terms of draft picks. You give up all your assets, and then you have maybe a starting rotation, but you have no bench to come in. So this can only go sour for the Knicks in the future. The Knicks have to keep the foundation, and the Knicks have to build through the draft. And if you get Mitchell, fine. If you don't mortgage the future to get one player who's not a superstar. That's my opinion, guys. Epic Rican Seed. Yes, brother. Epic Rican. To my brother in Puerto Rico. The Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks will go back to the dark ages. Yeah, man, I can understand Big Task. You make a good point, man. We need to just keep it real, man, and just not give up the assets that Dan Ainge is looking for. Thank you, Big Task. I'm going to move along, guys, because I have to get off in the next 15 minutes. If Danny Ainge trades for Donovan Mitchell, the Knicks will go back to the dark ages. We said that already. How many 7 seeds won the championship? That's a good question. I don't think not much. I don't know the answer to that, Marcus. Not much. I don't think not many. Jeremy Maynard, Leon will get Mitchell for less than proposed on the network. Listen, I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope we don't get bamboozled the way Minnesota did. I don't think that's going to happen with Leon Rose, but I agree the Knicks shouldn't give up the farm for Donovan Mitchell, but I saw a rumor offering from Orlando that they're offering Utah 3 number 1s, Suggs, Wendell Carter. If that's true, man, if that's true, my question is, why would Orlando, who's building, would take a contract up of Donovan Mitchell's stature and give up those assets? Why would you give up Suggs? This guy's a future star point guard. I don't know. I don't know if that's is that hearsay or that come from a reliable source? Fidel, kind of let me know who that source was, because I don't think that Orlando will. If Orlando doesn't move like that, they're treading backwards. They have a young core of players. I don't know. I don't think that's the case, man. I could be. Listen, Donovan Mitchell's still 25, so 3 number 1 Suggs, Wendell Carter, Jay Isaac, and okay. I don't think Danny Ainge will go for that. He'll want more first rounders, and I don't think Orlando would give up so many assets. I don't know. I could be wrong, guys. I don't see Orlando, who's building for the future, getting a Donovan Mitchell and bring $32 million of contract. I don't know. Fidel, if you get a reliable source on that, I'll try to find that out after I get off the show in a few minutes, and I'll try to read more into that. But I can't answer that now. Would I do it? Would Danny Ainge do it? I don't think so. Danny Ainge will last for at least double the picks that you see there in 3. So, but I don't think that Orlando should make that trade. And I don't know. We'll see. Okay, Epic Rican, you grow from their steps to get to Mitchell and move forward. I agree, Epic Rican. Listen, if you get them, great. If you don't, you walk away. We're not going to mortgage the future, like I mentioned. We need to keep the basis of what Leon Rose has done in the last 2 or 3 years. Look at how we drafted. We drafted well the last 2 or 3 years. We need to keep the core of this team together. Thank you, Epic Rican. Michael, the concern is that the time that we use to draft the capital, that we need to pay some of the young players on our rookie deals. Yes, and that's what Leon Rose is here for the job, man. I think Leon Rose is fantastic at what he does. I'm going to move a little further. Thank you, John. Send Danny Ainge packing. Leon Rose will run circles around him. Ainge, I'll find out. I think so too, man. John, great observation on your end. He will run circles around him. Danny Ainge thinks he's dealing with, Mr. Magoo or something like that can kind of blindside him on a deal. But look at Melo real quick. If you don't commit to total tank, give up them picks. You can't tank. The Knicks won't tank. Leon Rose's job will be on the line if he starts thinking those parameters. And Tom Thibodeau, I think he needs to win. And if he doesn't win, there'll be a Johnny Bryant waiting to take over his coaching time there, because it's just a big year for Tom Thibodeau. Leon Rose still has a longer leash. Let's see what happens. Don, between Robinson, Julius, Donovan, and Brunson, how much more cap will the Knicks have to sign another player to compete? It's clear that if they make this trade, then it's a win now move for the Knicks. I agree, Don. That cap space is dwindling down, man. Unless you get rid of Fournier, Rose, and Randall, that's not going to happen. That's the only way we're going to clear a lot more cap space. But I agree with you, man. Leon Rose is treading on a fine line, but I'm pretty sure Brock Aller is involved somehow, the numbers guy. So I'm pretty sure they're pretty good. Knicks will be a lottery team if they lose 6 picks quickly. I don't know if they'll be a lottery team. They'll fall right in the middle, man. Not good enough for the lottery and not good enough to get the players they want. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the worst thing any team could be, right in the middle. Like, it's like being the middle child, not getting enough attention, and you're not the oldest to be, and you're not the youngest that gets all the attention. You're not the oldest we can bully and be the tough guy of the family. So, you don't want to be in the middle. I think this is what happens. You don't want to be in the middle. You want to be somewhere in the top, or if you want to be bad, be all the way at the bottom. Either the top or bottom, man. It's either rich man or poor man, one of the two. Thank you, widescreen TV. That's very observant on your end. Michael, defensive suspects. There are only too many undersized guards. Not sure what we will get for Randall and Mitchell Robinson, either injured or in foul trouble. Guys, I'm behind the chat. I appreciate Michael. Mitchell Robinson is going to have a lot of work ahead of him, especially with those perimeter guards that you mentioned, 6'1" and can't play no defense, basically. Mitchell Robinson's either going to get injured, tired out. Let's hope not. Hartenstein maybe can add something to it. I think he's a good defender as well. Let's see what happens, man. I'm curious what Leon Rose is going to do. I still got John Infante, Knicks haters, New York name, so nice. That's why they hate us. There's no place like New York. John, yes, John, I agree with you. There's no place like New York, man. We could be a little rowdy. We could be a little brash. We could be a little cocky. But we know our New York basketball. Knick Nation, you guys are the best, man. I wouldn't want to be a Knick fan more than Knick fan than anything else in my life, man. I'm a Knick Yankee. Proud to be a Yankee lover, and the Knicks, New York, in general, is the best city in the world, the best knowledgeable people in the world when it comes to sports. Thank you, John. I appreciate you, brother. Money, I mean, Don. Yes, I know what you meant, but Don, I know I kind of understand what you were trying to say. Wow, Falcon 44, Joker will join the Knicks next summer if you get Donovan. Yeah, White Falcon. Joe can be on us, but I don't think Leon Rose is going to let that happen, man. Hey guys, I'm going to stay on for another to about 10:30. I've been on for 2 hours and 22 minutes. I'm going to answer as much of these questions here as possible. Rico, world peace. It's almost never brought up, and our issue is that our training facility is in Westchester. No pro wants to travel an hour plus to work every day. If they're paying you millions of dollars, man, I think Donovan Mitchell getting paid 32, playing in the city he wants to. Get a chauffeur, man. Drive you up to where you're going. I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe for some who's not making enough money who doesn't want to be here, but I don't think that's a big issue. I hope it's not. Rico, world peace. I appreciate you, brother. It's probably the best training facility in the NBA, man. They got everything covered, man. No pro wants to travel, and I never really heard that as an issue with any Knick player of the past or of the future who's been here. So I don't know. I have to research that myself, Rico, but I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Joey, I don't see us being a good defensive team with Jalen and Mitch. I agree, you, man. Paris, once again, I agree, Joey. I appreciate you being here, man. Because the defense is going to be an issue, man. Mitchell Robinson is going to be a full-time guy chasing players from up front because that lane is going to be free. Hopefully, Tom Thibodeau can figure out a plan, and that's why Tom Thibodeau has to coach his best coaching ever this coming season. Paris, of course, DM moves the needle. Problem with the Knicks fan is they want to go from being homeless to living in the penthouse in one move. Mitchell is an incredible move, and you make the playoffs. Depends on the coaching, Paris. I'm still have doubts with Tom Thibodeau's coaching and how he goes about coaching. But I understand. Knick Nation wants it now, man. Listen, Knick Nation, New Yorkers, we want everything yesterday. We don't want to wait on lines in the bank. We don't want to wait for tickets. We don't want to wait. We don't want to wait. We don't want to wait. We want everything yesterday. That's the New York motto. We're very impatient. We want to win yesterday. We want to win consistently. We want to be considered winners. So I understand where you're coming from, Paris. I don't think it's going to move the needle that much, but I can see us making the 7 or 8 seed. I don't think they'll be like 6 seed. Unless they fix the defensive liabilities on the team, then I can see the Knicks moving. If we make some trades or pick up some players in the All-Star break, or we make a trade that will bring a defensive player here, maybe. I don't know. But Paris, you make some good points, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Marcus, Epic, y'all make a lot of money. So what do you want to be, the richest franchise or the winniest franchise? There you go, Marcus. The winniest stuff, obviously. I think that Knick Nation will take that any time of day. Don, at Joey, Vikes, I agree. Yes, I agree with Joey as well. DM is a star, not a superstar, yet we can overpay and must be patient. I agree, man. We have to be patient, man. I think Leon Rose will get his man and not have to pay the high premiums that Minnesota paid. Okay. I can't even pronounce Clavains. Durance. I'm sorry if I butcher my Latin pronunciations, and my pronunciations overall is horrible. I have to get on phonics or something, man, Puerto Rican style. But yes, I appreciate you. Thank you, man. White Falcon 44, make that trade. Our starter lineup will be playing 40 minutes a game. Yeah, because you're not going to have any bench, man. If that starting lineup can hold up for the rest of the season, we'll win a lot of games. But, in the NBA, you need a backup unit that can come in and rest our starters. And if you make a trade and giving up all these assets and picks, we're going to be the Carmelo Anthony part 2 again, man, having no one on the team. Ben Sims, I wouldn't trade Obi, IQ, and Grimes straight up for Donovan. Hey, I agree. I wouldn't either, man. Nick Mack, our young guys will be Summer League champions. Games for now. Grimes and McBride are ballers. with Sims, who can't be in a trade, but losing Grimes, McBride, and 2 more kids. Nope. I agree, Nick Yak. Listen, we have some disagreements with Nick Yak, but he comes up with some good stuff. We got Don here. Don't let the stat nerds twist the narrative. Good observation, my friend. Got to trade. We still have RJ and Mitch. Yeah, hopefully they still stay in a team, but yeah, man, listen, the Knicks have to play a steady hand of poker, man. Not throw your hand down too fast, Put your sunglasses on and make sure Danny Ainge doesn't know your move, or your next move at least. We'll wait. We'll hold them off. I'm confident that we'll get Mitchell and not give up the players, or we'll walk away and we'll still play these young players like Cam and Grimes and see what we have in this young team. And the question is, Tom Thibodeau, for some reason, I feel like he can't coach these young guys. He needs some veterans. I think he's pushing these trades more than anything else. He's going to have these guys running the floor. That's why you see Randall stay here. That's why you see Fournier here, because of the contracts, and nobody wants these guys. And I think that Thibodeau, if he doesn't prove himself this year, this is going to be his last year. I can see him being replaced. And Leon Rose, I trust, but I still have my doubts with Tom Thibodeau, and that's why all these things I'm talking about, these trades and giving up all these draft picks. Look, man, I think Tom Thibodeau, when he was the GM in Minnesota, he made some horrible trades, man. He would mortgage the future just to get players now, win now mode. And we can't have that mentality in New York no more. I'm sorry, man. So we waited for 30 years, 40 years. Let's wait a little more until we win that championship. 73, 83, 93. 50 years? We're going on 50 years that we have won a championship. So 50 years, we can wait 2 or 3 more years to be competitive and go to the Eastern Conference Finals by not mortgaging the future and keeping our players. Thank you. Shazam, international official, but how long did it take Mitchell to be a star? Well, he's 25. That took him about 2 or 3 years. That's a good point. Zenray, Mitchell is awesome. Yeah, he's 25 points a game. No, I agree, man. But in every sport, man, defense is what wins you games. You could be the greatest offensive player. Yes, you need offense. But if you don't have key moments in a game where you can play defense, defense wins you ball games. So that's my model in terms of that. Out of 6 numbers, 1 picks, how many of those are unprotected? Well, I think they're going to go odd and even years to get their number one. They have at least 3 protected picks. I think they're going to try to give them those 3 protected picks and try to give them another 3 or 4 of our own. And not consecutive years. You can't do that. You have to go every other year. But I can see us giving 7 picks total for Brunson. But I'd rather give the picks than giving up all our assets that we have built in the last couple of years. Good observation on yourself, Michael. Why is Randall attitude sucks a big issue? New York needs toughness. If this was Mason, Oakley, or Starks, we would be complaining. Toughness is good, man. I love toughness, but he just goes overboard. Did you see the games when he's knocking clipboards and knocking laptops off the assistants' hands, pushing Fournier, seeing Obi topping on the floor and not picking his own man from the floor, pouting, thumbs down to Nick Nation? That's a disrespect. And Nick Nation, we don't tolerate that. We can forgive, but we don't forget. So that's why we're looking for a big year from Randall to make up for all that. So we love the toughness. When did you see Oakley thumb down as a fan? When did you see Anthony Mason, God rest his soul, thumb down as a fan or not pick up a fellow player on the floor up? We haven't seen that from them. And Randall has done that and above all these kind of idiotic kind of gestures, not only to the fans, but toward his own teammates. And then he makes enemies with the officials. I thought Luka Doncic was bad because he cries for everything, but Randall has to be right up there with Luka Doncic, complaining on every call. So yeah, Dre, I agree. We need toughness, but I think it becomes a mind thing with Randall. I think he takes himself out of the game. I've seen plenty of games from him take himself out of defensively out of many games because he was upset with the referees, or maybe he's not playing well. You have to be thick-skinned, like Juby the 2B says, to play in New York. I don't think Randall can be a first option. It's too much pressure on him. That's why Donovan Mitchell will work here, having a go-to guy. Having a Jalen Brunson would help Randall's game more, and I think you'll see a better version than Randall. He can't take the pressure by being the first option, but thank you, Dre. I appreciate you. Joey Vikes, I offer 4 picks, Deuce and Randall. They won't take Randall. Deuce will take 4 picks. They will probably want more than that if we're not going to give the assets. So I can see double the picks, Deuce. I can see Cam, and I can see probably Rose and Fournier, but Randall doesn't move the needle for them. He has too much money on this contract. With Fournier, he has this year and an option year after that, so you don't have to sign him the following year. Fournier is probably the best choice for them. I think you're locked in for Randall for the next 4 years, man. And Don Clavius Durance, I agree 100%. Thank you, Don. Guys, I'm going to move. Wild Falcon is come on. Brunson, Don, RJ, Randall, Mitch, Rose, Fournier, Cam, Sims, Hartenstein. Why not? I like that. Listen, if you don't make the trade, you still have the assets here, man. You have a good team, man. Hey, listen, White Falcon said it best, man. We have a team. We have a team that can compete. And we have finally a captain to drive this ship in Jalen Brunson. He doesn't have to shoot the ball. He gets other players involved. When you need to score and you need a go-to guy, Jalen Brunson did in the playoffs. He scored like 40, 45 points against Dallas, but he was defended by Donovan Mitchell too. So he had his way with Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz. It was ridiculous. But thank you, White Falcon. You made a great point on our lineups there. Official Doe, Dre, I totally agree. Yes. Let's see what we got here. Thank you, Official Doe. I appreciate you coming on. People need to put some respect on DM's name. Dude is 3-time All-Star and would be the best player on the team by far, proven closer playoff performer, and will not be the last move by Leon. Listen, Paris, we respect DM. I respect him. I think that what I don't respect is Danny Ainge trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Because if you get Donovan Mitchell here and you take all our assets, where are we going next? Then you're going to be coming back, or we're going to be coming back saying, okay, what's next? You've given all our draft capital. You've given up most of our young players. How can you sustain a winning season with just Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson on the team? And a Randall and a Fournier. It's not. I'm not going to go Fournier and Randall. Fournier probably won't be here on the team, but it's not going to work. You know, I think that you need to be kind of come to terms that Danny Ainge is going to always go up high, and Leon Rose is definitely going to bottom out as much as possible to come in the middle somewhere, and that you're going to see that happening in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you, Paris. Stuart, Joey, not enough, and they don't want Randall. I agree. I said that, Stuart. Good observation on your end. Is that why New York fans hate Randall, his attitude? Marcus, I don't think it's just much of his attitude. I think he came here as a leader. When there was no fans in the seats, Randall was, I'm here. We're here. Yeah, we're here. But there was no fans in the seat. There was no pressure on you. You were the man. A lot of the players in the NBA were out due to COVID, so you played with a lot of teams that have all their players. So you had this great year. And we thought the following year you would have come back gangbusters. But now when people came back and the fans, more fans came to the seats, a lot of the players came back from COVID, it became a little tougher for him. And he didn't come back in such great shape the following year. So a lot of things happen along the way. We don't hate Randall. We just hate the way he goes about things. For me, he became almost like not a team player toward the end. Defensive-wise, he quit on defense. He quit on his players most of the time. He walked away certain times when at the end of games, not high-fiving the players, not coming together with the team, arguments with Fournier, the coaches on the bench, argumentative with the coaches, with the referees, with the opposing team as well. So it was too much. It was too much. He was over the top a bit. I don't hate him. I think he can have a bounce-back season with Jalen Brunson. Thank you, Marcus. Man, I am so behind, guys. Let me just move it up a little bit. I appreciate every guy, and I apologize if I pass you guys. Let me see how far we are here. Wow, I'm really behind, guys. Wow. I need to have a super chat, definitely. New Yorker. Let me go to New Yorker here. Let me start with Charlie C, then we go to New Yorker. Laughing out loud. Golden State's playing well, over 50 million over the cap. Well, when you win championships, you can afford to do that. The Knicks can't sniff a championship for 50 years going. So, Charlie C, I respect you, brother. Can we go over the cap just to have pay luxury tax? I mean, we could do that. But I think, Brock Aller is here to prevent that. And I think, Dolan is making sure he's paying Brock Aller to keep us under the salary cap. So if you're paying Brock Aller all this money to be here, he's making sure that he's going to keep you under the cap. Can we? Yes, we should. We have all this money. James Dolan is a multi-billionaire. Why not? I agree with you. Go over the cap. Get your players. But unfortunately, the Knicks, Leon Rose regime won't do that. Knicks will be crazy good with Mitchell. As Jazz fans, I like to keep Mitchell, but if we are going to give him up, I hope we get your young guys. Yeah, I agree, Zach. I appreciate you, Zach. Leon Rose is not going to give you picks and give you our core of players. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We'll give you the picks. You got plenty of picks in the Rudy Gobert trade. We'll give you more picks. We'll give you more assets. We have enough to give you 8 number 1 picks. So we'll do that, and we'll give you a couple of players to match salaries work. But we're not going to give you an Obi. We're not going to give you quickly. We're not going Grimes. I'm willing to give up. Cam. You can't give up all these players. This is the foundation. We'll just blow up the team just to get a Donovan Mitchell. It's not going to happen. I don't think Leon Rose is going to have that happen as well. Zach, true, but he has killer offense, lots of points, and probably can be better on the offense and defense. I agree. I can see Donovan Mitchell get better. Prezi, they should definitely bring the facility to Manhattan or Brooklyn. I agree. Listen, I didn't know Westchester, that ride was an hour. They have all this money. I hear that facility is fantastic, by the way. It's just fantastic. I don't understand why they don't have something in the city. You don't think Dolan has some rental space you can get for these guys to work out in the city? That's a good Prezi. That's a good observation you're in, and great observation on the other gentleman who brought that up previously. I'm going on 3 hours here, guys. So bear patience on my end because I'm trying to catch up here. Thank you, Prezi. I appreciate you. Charlie Jazz had a top 5 in 3 years in a row. Okay. I guess that was Donovan Mitchell. His DM was the terrible defensively. How the Jazz top 5? Because during the season, Charlie, you don't have to be the greatest defender. In the playoffs, that shows that's the cream rises to the top. You're either going to play defense, you're not going to play. Brunson ate him alive. You have to admit that, Charlie. It just ate him alive. He did not play no defense. I don't think he didn't want to play defense. I don't think he can play the defense. The playoff game is a whole different cat to the regular season. Everything is a half court type of set. It's not a fast break type of game. Everything breaks down to the half court. And Brunson just ate him alive. And I hope he can get better. I think he could. It's just going to take some work. I mean, Charlie. So, Travis, let's go Hawks. All right, Travis. Atlanta Hawk fan there. Okay, we got Trae Young. We have some payback for Trae Young, Travis. We definitely have some payback. But I respect your Hawks, man. You guys have a good team coming up. I can't wait to play you guys. Maybe you can make Trae Young. Thanks, Travis. Charlie, Conley is smaller than Brunson. Is he? He's not 5'11". I think Conley's about the same size. I think they're about 6'1". I could be wrong, Charlie. Tricky Nicky. Let's talk Knicks. All right. Nick Nation in the house. Well, thank you, Tricky. I appreciate you. Nick Yak. You can go over the cap for your own player, not other players. That's why we signed Mitch last case we needed to go over. Okay, so look at that. Nick Yak with some good NBA kind of rules that I wasn't aware of. I thought you can go over the cap. If you went over the cap, I thought you can just pay the luxury tax you had to pay with. But a lot of teams don't want to do it. Look at even Mark Cuban didn't want to go over the luxury tax. He could have paid Brunson the money he was looking for, but he knew it was kind of beating a dead horse. He knew that Brunson wanted to come here, and he didn't want to go into a bidding war with Leon Rose. So Jalen Brunson is here now. Shazam, there's no need to sell the firm. Just be an 8th seed. We can do that with Brunson. I agree, man. Shazam, I agree, man. I think we don't need to rock the boat, man. I think you keep this ship flowing the way it should be. You keep your core, you play them out, and hopefully there's some free agents that want to come to us eventually. Once winning heals everything. Once you start winning, free agents will come. So when they say, "Oh, you need Donovan Mitchell to come here because you want some future free agents," you do that by winning. Tom Thibodeau, do your job, coach effectively. Leon Rose, give him the players he needs to be effective and make this team win. I think he's starting him off with a young core. The only problem with Tom Thibodeau, he doesn't like playing the young players. He doesn't play rookies. He likes playing veterans. Look, he was starting Burks, a starting point guard. That is a fireable offense when you had a Deuce McBride going. You were not going anywhere anyway. If you thought the Knicks were going to make the playoffs last year the way they were playing, you had to be kidding me. But he kept on. He wanted to win so bad to take that chance to ravel up 10 straight wins to try to make that playing game. It didn't happen. Leon Rose played Burks and then played Obi only 9 minutes a game, 11 minutes max, and played Julius Randle 45 minutes, played Fournier 30 minutes, played Burks at one point almost 40 minutes a game. That's a fireable offense. I'm surprised he didn't get fired for that, but I'm willing to give Tom Thibodeau a chance. Let's see what he does with these young kids. Let these kids play. If we don't get a Mitchell here, let the kids play. Let the youth come in and take over. The confidence with Quickly and Obi is there. I'm not saying you can't sprinkle a veteran here and there. You can have a Rose coming off the bench playing a few minutes. You can have even Fournier coming off the bench. You can start Grimes. But you pay him so much money, you have to kind of say, you pay him Fournier to come off the bench. You pay him $19 million a year. It doesn't sound too good for management to do that, but why not? Let the kids play and let Fournier play your 25 minutes a game coming off the bench and scoring. He broke John Stark's records. He can shoot. We need shooters, but also a defensive liability. Let's see what happens, guys. Paris. Tibbs is only going to use 3 to 4 man bench. He went deep last year. I think he went as far as 9-10 in the bench at one point, maybe because due of injury. But once again, listen, in Tom Thibodeau, I don't trust much. Let's see what he does this year. I think with this young core, you need to go at least 9 deep. At least. Depending on the situation, obviously. Charlie C. Dude, only reads what his opinions are enforced by chat. Okay, Charlie, I'll take that to observation, man. I'm a newbie when it comes to this. This channel has only been like 14 months old, and I appreciate you guys from Nick Nation. I take any kind of constructive criticism well. Don't know everything, and if I can learn from you, Charlie, I'll do that. I'm grateful to your opinion there and your comment there. I really appreciate that, Charlie. Knicks were the 4th seed with lesser players 2 years ago. Surely they can get back with the Brunson, Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Randall, Brunson. I think so. I think they can do it. And now you got a person riding the ship and who's leading this core with Jalen Brunson. So I agree. Wow. I got a lot to go, guys. I'm going to be ending the show in about 5-10 minutes, guys. First of all, I want to say thank you for everyone. Charlie, man, your observation is greatly noted here on my end. We're going to the finals if we stay and put for 3 years. Charlie, somebody's going to be laughing all the way to the bank. Is it Danny Ainge or is it Leon Rose? Guys, I want to thank you. I can't get to everyone tonight, man, guys. I have to get a super chat here. And I'm going to take Charlie's advice in terms and kind of coordinate. But I like to get to everybody who's gone in, who's never been in before. Like Corey said, sorry, just tuning in. Who are the Knicks going to get for Don Jazz? Listening to offers, my opinion. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm looking at the Knicks getting Donovan Mitchell, but not for what Danny Ainge is looking for. So let's see what happens, Corey. Appreciate you. JG, we're looking for Randall to do well this season, so the rest of the league will see the value in him. And I agree with you. That's one of the main things. All-Star break. If you get some value for him, up it up. You can trade him and start Obi. That'll be the right move. Obi is not going to sign with the Knicks if he's not starting, if he's not getting enough minutes. So that's great observation on your end, JG. Obi needs to get starters minutes eventually. And if Randall and Obi, oil and water, does not mix, I see the Knicks trading Randall at the All-Star break and starting Obi Toppin. That's a good observation. Thank you. JG, got to see the past, the measure numbers to see that Randall isn't good for this team. I agree. I think Nick Nation agrees with you wholeheartedly, man. I think Randall is not good for this team, but his value is so low, you can't get a bag of chips for him right now. So we're going to have to hold out, wait, like you said, for the All-Star break, trade him and get some value and start Obi Toppin at the 4. Randall won't survive another year in the Garden if he doesn't change his attitude. I agree. Shahad, I agree. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Listen, guys, I'm running behind schedule. I'm going as fast as possible. We're going to be ending the show about 5-10 minutes. I've been on for almost 3 hours. I guess that the 6'10" wingspan didn't matter. Well, I think who has a 6'10" wingspan? Does Donovan Mitchell have 6'1" wingspan? I think Cam Reddish has a 6'10" wingspan. His wingspan is crazy. I probably missed a comment somewhere in the middle there. Jeffrey Clarkson, defense wins titles with 2 6'1" guards. Win against teams like the Celtics. No, you're absolutely correct, Jeffrey. You're absolutely correct. As much as I'm a Knicks fan, you're not going to win titles with 6'1" guys. And number one, the way Donovan Mitchell played in the playoffs defensively, he was awful to say the least. And I always said it, defense wins games. So I look for the Knicks to make some drastic changes if they do get a Donovan Mitchell. They're going to have to up their defense intensity somehow, some way. Tom Thibodeau, start coaching. IQ Grimes, 5 picks. Irving and Rose, done deal. Epic Rican. At this juncture, man, I'm going 3 hours in. Right now, I'll agree on any deal right now. Not any deal. But I respect you, Rican brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Epic, man. You've been great tonight. I appreciate everyone here at Nick Nation, man. Listen, guys, I just want to say I admire you guys. I've only been doing this with Jupiter Tubi for the last 14, 16 months. And for us to get the recognition and comments and subscribers and the likes up the way you guys do, man, you guys are fantastic. If you find this channel interesting, subscribe. It's free. Give a thumbs up and support to kind of support the algorithm with YouTube and things of that nature. Guys, look, I just want to say thank you, Nick Nation. Thank you for everything. I'm speechless. I'm tired. You guys are the best. Look, I can say that everyone here, it's been great. We got Brooklyn 39 trying to say something here that because RJ took the torch when he was acting up. Look, I think RJ is the man. Brooklyn, that'll be the last that we'll say end the show with that. But let's go to Nick's Nixicism. No fans in the seats. The Garden is always sold out. I agree, man. Randall, hate is real. Yes, I agree, man. It's not hate. It's just concern that this Knicks team is not growing. So with that said, guys, I'm going to head out. I just want to say thank you once again. You guys have been great. And tune in to the Portland Trailblazers Knick game championship coming up. I have to get that information. I get a chance. Jupiter Tubi was supposed to look that up. That I think that game is coming up sometime next week. The Knicks, the championship game. I see Grimes being big in that game, being the MVP of that game. I just want to thank everybody who's come along for the ride, and my apologies for not having my mic on for 10 minutes, man. I know you guys are Knick fans and diehard Knick fans like I am, and I just want to say that I'll be on sometime next week live with Juby. We'll post it up. Put your likes, your thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, comment. We'll interact with you as well. And we look for you guys next week. And before you guys, listen, guys, never give up, guys. Never give up, knowing that the best is yet to come. With love, peace, and gratitude. Zenray out. Nick Nation, much love, man. Much love. You guys are the greatest. We'll be on next week, and I'll have some interesting subject matter putting up on the air in the next few days. Zenray out.
Never give up. Never give up. Knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude.